It is September 30th, 2022, and Rolling Stone magazine has just put out their comprehensive list of the 100 greatest television shows of all time. By the way, Frank, did you wake up the guy from Green Day today?
Did I wake up the guy from Green Day?
Yes.
No, why?
Jesus.
Oh, damn it.
There goes following instructions. Dear
Son of a
Lord.
bitch. Are you?
What, you gonna blame it on me?
Of course I'm going to blame it on you. Yeah, that's fine.
All right, listen, Rolling Stone 100 greatest TV shows of all time. They've named them. We are going to break them down and dissect them, analyze it, critique
Ooh.
it,
Just tear them to shreds, whatever they
tear it
are.
to shreds. Yes. Let us
So are
know
we
in the
going to start
comments.
like with the word like 100?
Starting at 100.
Wow.
Let us know in the comments what you think is the greatest show. I'd like an opinion on every single show. Comment as much as you like, subscribe, follow, and like.
Let's say, you know what? What do you think is number 50? What the hell?
Well,
Everybody has a guess at number 1, but what's number 50?
that's a good question. What is number 50? I don't know. I was just thinking, like, are the late night shows on this? Are, like,
This is
for
television
instance,
show. Like, is Saturday Night Live on it?
at the time of this, podcast, Trevor Noah has just announced that he's moving on from the Daily Show, moving
Right.
on / fired. Well, who knows? Is that on here? I just don't know. So we'll see. We'll go down the list. Are you ready, Frank?
I'm ready. We're starting at number 100, right?
Number 100. Right off the bat, I have an issue. Here's
boy.
a show called What We Do in the Shadows.
Oh, I love that show, and it should be higher on the list.
Okay. It is
Great
on
show.
FX. I will give you the time frame. I will give you the network. I will give you the name of the show for every one of these. What
I
We Do
love
in the
this show.
Shadows, FX, 2019 till present. Here's my issue. You've got to be a damn good show to make it on the list and be a show that's on right now. There's not 100 shows better than a show that's on TV
There are
right
shows
now.
look at what's it called? The Simpsons are on still. And
Okay, yes, but slight addendum. The Simpsons, shows that are continuing to go on, but have 30 years, 20 years, 10 years, 8 years. That's a different story. This is a 3-year-old show.
wow, we got Millhouse in the chat.
Wow, that's Frank's brother. That's a big deal.
There he is.
That's a big deal.
Everybody, welcome Michael to the chat.
So
Yeah, What We Do in the Shadows. It's been on for a few years. It has a cult following. It's Taika Waititi. He directs it, and it's really good. I mean, the last season, it's 4 seasons in right now. The 4th season just ended.
do I have to say
And
God bless you? What would you say directed it? What was that?
Taika Waititi, you don't know him?
No.
He directs like not all of, but he directs a lot of the Marvel stuff. Like he directed Thor: Love and Thunder, Thor
Oh, okay.
Ragnarok.
Now I know who that is.
Okay.
Got it.
But this show, to be honest, the last season was not as good. It's probably the worst season of the 4, but it's still a great show.
Already it's falling off. I don't think.
Well, that's why it's number 100, I guess.
I think if you're going to make this list, you have got to be bang on every season for a majority of your run. I mean, it's obviously, look, it's going to be a little different for the shows that have been off the air for 20, 30 years and dominated back in the day. It's going to be a little different landscape now. But I think you got to be a massively popular, masterful show. And you're the only fan that we have, and you're like, it's okay. The last season kind of sucked.
There are people in the chat that like that are into that show. It's a really good show. It's like original. There's not how many vampire comedy semi-reality shows are there? It's like The Office, but with vampires, basically.
Wait, there's people in the chat besides your brother that like the show? Be honest.
No, I don't think so.
Okay, that's what I thought.
No.
Is this the show? Is this the show where you say I look like one of the guys?
Yes, you look like Matt Berry is the name of the actor.
I don't care for that.
Well, he gets busy on that show a lot. So
Does he get? Yeah, he scores.
scores.
Nice.
So
99.
hit me with 99.
HBO show ran from 1997 to 2003.
1997 to 2000. Larry Sanders.
No, I will be devastated if that's not in the top
Yeah,
30,
right.
20.
What the hell could that be? Um, it's not Sex in the City.
No, I suspect that should be a little bit higher too.
Bleh. No, I have no idea. What is it? 6 Feet Under Bird Guest.
This is where we learned a bit more about ass rape. And that would be Oz.
Oz.
Yes.
All right.
Oz made putting people on fire and scratching people with nails that you grew while in prison
Yikes! That
and butt play all the
I
more
never
popular. Brought it
never
to the
saw
mainstream,
Oz.
Frank.
Hey, if nothing else, that I guess we'll put that in the win column. I don't know.
Here's to what ails you.
Okay. I've never seen Oz at all.
That's crazy. So before The Wire, before The Sopranos, before a lot of great television shows, it was kind of in HBO's first big run of TV, coming away from movies. Phenomenal show, great acting. We all know Mayhem from the insurance commercials now. He was on that show.
I mean, he's more popular than being Mayhem on the. Wait a minute, you're talking about Mayhem as in uh, the guy that was on Brooklyn Nine-Nine and
I don't know who that
wasn't
is, but
wasn't the wasn't the guy from Farmer? What's his name? Uh,
J.K. Simmons.
J.K. Simmons. Yeah.
Yep, he was on the show.
Wow. So two competing insurance mascot
Yes,
guys.
well, they went from ass rape to insurance. Everybody kind of moved along.
It's the natural progression, I think.
It's the American progression. No, tons of great actors on this. J.K. Simmons, Chris Maloney.
Sure.
Chris Maloney, big on that.
I didn't know he was in that.
Lee Tergesen, who you probably won't know, but if you saw him, you would know him.
What about Turd Ferguson?
Turd Ferguson was great on it. A young Carmela Soprano, Edie Falco, was on that show before she got the Sopranos. In fact, that's how she got the Sopranos, because she was already doing Oz.
Okay.
And they said once she got the Sopranos, like, we can't have you on this show with so much man ass rape. It's too much. It can't happen.
I mean, was there an episode without it?
Yeah. Hard to tell. It was a really interesting show. It made me feel like I don't want to do anything wrong. It made me give up a life of crime, Frank. You know that. I was going down a bad path.
If nothing else was going to do it, I'm glad the TV show Oz turned you around.
It was an interesting premise though, where they had a special section of this prison and there was like pods and everybody could see each other. It was all like clear glass and everything. There was no like, bars and anything, cells, and they had like you could be in your own group and very racial. So like there was the whites and then there was the blacks and the Hispanics and then there was the
what was the purpose of that? Of the pods?
I don't know. The Italians had a section. I don't know. Like they would all get a group and they would all be allowed to do their own thing. And
was this like a futuristic prison, or was
no? It was an experiment that they were doing. And then one season was like a prison. There was a prison riot, so that was like a whole thing. Very interesting stuff.
All right, so that's number 99.
Number 98. I disagree with this wholeheartedly because I never heard of the show. The Good Fight.
The Good Fight. I've
which
never
was
heard of
on
that either.
CBS All Access from 2017 to 2020 and Paramount Plus from 2021 to present.
The Good Fight.
Yes. Is this a spinoff of The Good Wife, I believe?
The Good Place? Oh, maybe it was a spinoff of The Good Wife. That could be it. Christine Baranski, was she in it? Does it say who's in it?
I don't give a shit. Let's move on.
Okay.
All right, number 97. ABC.
Happy birthday, Willie Thompson.
Hey, happy birthday, Willie.
All right, ABC, number 97. What do you got?
Number 97, ABC, 1970 to 1975.
I'm going to say that is Hill Street Blues.
Very good. The Odd Couple.
Ah, okay.
1968 film version of Neil Simon's play about two mismatched pair of divorced
Yeah,
middle-aged
we know
friends.
what it's about.
Okay.
If you don't know what The Odd Couple is, come on.
Here's the thing with the Odd Couple, become a part of culture and society. Like, how many times do you go, yeah, they're like the Odd Couple?
Oh yeah, it's a common phrase now. Yeah,
Like,
when anybody's mismatched, it's they're The Odd Couple.
yeah, the Odd Couple. Yeah. I would argue Jay Saps and her husband, they're the Odd Couple.
Yeah, in our group, absolutely.
He's quite mild mannered and lovely and pleasant to deal with off the air,
Yeah,
whereas she, not so much.
yeah. I don't. It's weird. It's opposites attract. Good
Mhm.
for them. All right,
All right, number 96,
96.
one of Frank's favorites
Really?
on Adult Swim from 2013 till present.
Rick and Morty?
Rick and Morty,
Oh, that should be way higher.
96th greatest show of all time.
That should be higher. That's such a good show.
Is it though?
It really. Have you seen it?
No, I'm so confused. It's Back to the Future, right? That's what they're ripping off. Like
No, 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 no,
Doc
no.
and
There's no time. It's not time travel. It's a grandfather and his grandson. The grandfather's like a crazy scientist, but like there are other planets and alien and stuff like that. It's very sci-fi, but it's smart and it's like vulgar and it's really good.
all right,
I
so you just
recommend.
like it when the cartoons curse and they use bad words, right? That's what it is.
Kinda.
That's kind of like your thing.
I'm not gonna say I don't like that.
Number 95. Again, I think this is a bit ballsy on Netflix. Squid Game.
Wow, great show.
95th greatest show of all time.
I mean,
We're going to get through this whole list and then we're going to be like, what about this show? And then we're going to go, wait, fucking Squid Game for how many seasons has Squid Game been? One, two?
one.
One season of
It's
Squid
coming
Game?
back. It's coming back for a second, but yeah, the first one was such a powerhouse. It became this huge thing. People not ripping it up, but people copying it, parodying it, all this stuff. It's big. I'll give it that, and I could see it being on the list. It was very good. I enjoyed it.
I don't know. A ballsy call here from Rolling Stone magazine at number 94, near and dear to my heart. And I don't know, Frank's actually, we haven't really talked about this. On NBC from 1995 to 1999.
I don't know what that is.
News radio.
News radio.
Mm-hmm.
Good show. Good show. Greatest show of all time. Was it 94? You said.
Mm-hmm. 94.
All right. Yeah, good show. Phil Hartman. Heyday of Phil Hartman.
Mm-hmm.
Um, anytime he was in in the episode, it was great. So I'll give you that. If it wasn't for I feel like if you take Phil Hartman out of that show, it drops off the list.
I agree. Phil Hartman, a big part of this, also gave us Joe Rogan. I don't know if we would have Joe Rogan if it not for news radio.
Right.
Dave Foley, phenomenal, a genius.
Creepazoid Andy Dick.
Andy Dick, of course. A little bit of insight into radio, like growing up being a radio nerd, you get to see like, oh, what is that? What's that? I was always big
What's
into that.
weird
Like,
though?
let me see the studio. What mic are they using? How does
You
it all
know,
work?
I get that, but I feel like I never, as a radio guy, I never got that from news radio. I feel like I got it more from Frasier. Frasier gave me more of an inside knowledge in radio than news radio did. I don't know why. Just they never really, for a show called News Radio, I feel like they never really focused on the job as much as like
Uh,
relationships and this one's going out with this one and all behind. They never focused on the actual job too much. In
I
my
agree.
my opinion.
No, I agree. But it was still like, you would still like watch it and be like, oh, that's what the news director does. I see. You
Yeah.
like kind of you pick up those little insights here and there. It wasn't great for it, but in 95, it being all you really had. Again, remember, this is really pre-internet. This is the first bit of internet in 95 when it's just getting into everybody's home.
Right.
Everybody's just starting, so you never really saw radio people. You never really saw much of that shit. That was really the only chance to like see like a working radio station, what it would look like or appear to be.
True. 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 All right.
All right, number 93, the Rockford Files.
Rockford Files. Jim Rockford and the Rockford Files.
James Garner. I got to tell you something. It ran from 74 to 80, a little before my time. I didn't really
Before
catch
my
it much on
time.
the reruns. I don't really know much about the Rockford Files.
I don't know too much about it, but he's a detective, and it was a crime show. I don't know too much about it either, but I know it was popular.
Surprised about this one. This seems a bit high to me. Number
High,
92.
as you mean low on the list? Like it
I
should be
mean,
higher?
it should be lower on the list.
If we're going towards number one, that's higher on the list.
Okay, it should be higher on the list. It should have a better score.
Right.
Syndicated, no TV network, syndicated. The Muppet Show, 92. That's ridiculous. I mean, you're talking about something that is part of everybody's childhood since the damn thing started in the mid 70s. I don't know how you don't put the Muppet Show a bit higher.
I mean, the movies, I feel like everybody knows the movies and the Muppets themselves better than the Muppet Show, in my opinion.
And what's weird is like you're talking about there's been a ton of iterations. This is the show that ran from 76 to 81 with the actual Muppets. Then there was all the cartoons that followed out. Like my kids even grew up on them. Like the Muppets cartoons are still going today.
Oh, everything that branched from the Muppets is great. I feel like the Muppet Show is probably at the bottom of the Muppet list.
This version of the Muppet, you might be right about that.
All the movies and the cartoons better than the Muppet Show, I think.
I would agree with that. Yes. But it still feels like overall, like have a little respect for the thing that kind of,
the stick with the one that brought you.
Exactly. Number 92. This is tough. Okay. Now this one I completely disagree with. These fucking people have lost their damn minds. You're talking about 1962 to 1992. 30 years on NBC.
Is that MASH?
No, 30 years.
What is that?
The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson.
Oh, okay.
91? Come on.
I just have like a Charlie horse in my leg, and I gotta work that out, and we're good. That's what happens when you get old. Okay,
right,
so the Tonight Show, Johnny Carson's Tonight Show.
Utter insanity. I mean, you've got to be kidding me. So obviously, clearly, the late shows are on this list. They're going to split them up between who they are, but that means to me.
Yeah, go ahead.
To me, Jimmy Fallon cannot be on this list. Then I'm sorry.
No,
I love
nobody
Jimmy.
could be on the list. If they're saying that all the other, if they're all on the list, they're all better than Johnny Carson's today. No.
I love Conan. I love Letterman.
Love Conan.
I mean, Letterman may be the only argument you could make that he eclipsed Johnny, but I kind of feel like it's impossible.
No, Johnny.
They all took his
original
playbook. Right.
Yeah.
He got it started. He was the one that started it all.
Johnny you can't beat Johnny. He was involved in he was basically, if you take all the late night show hosts today and smash them into one person, you get Johnny Carson. He's involved in all the clips and all the skits and everything. He was funny. He was off the cuff. He's a great interviewer, and he was respected. I just think you're right. I think Johnny Carson should be way higher on the list.
Think about all the wonderful moments that show produced and years. I mean, part of culture. Here's Johnny, like all this shit.
Not only that, look at all the comedians that got their start and were all of a sudden, boom, on the Tonight Show. And
Great
it was
point.
like, I mean, if there was no Tonight Show, how many comedians you'd never probably heard of?
A great point. You don't have a Seinfeld. You don't have Everybody Loves Raymond. I think Raymond. I know Letterman put him over, gave him his real start, but I think Ray Romano did the Tonight Show too.
Yeah, I mean, if Jerry did, they were around the same. ish time.
Steve, I mean, you just go up and down the list. You're right. Great point. Comedians for sure, 1,000%.
Telling you.
All right, now what would you do if I sang out of tune and told you that The Wonder Years was number
Ah,
90?
great show. That's a little low on the list.
5-year run from 1988 to 1993.
Yeah, I mean, again, I mean, if there's 90 shows better or 89 shows better, that's they got to be great because Wonder Years was legendary.
Phenomenal show. Sorry, I thought it would be a little higher. I like
Right.
how I muted my mic while I was talking and then
That was good.
unmuted it in time to clear my throat,
Yeah, we didn't hear what you said, but we got the cough in there.
which is the exact opposite of what I wanted.
Jerk.
Um,
How many years in radio?
15.
Yeah, okay.
What was I going to say? We should start our list of the hottest chicks on TV and run that simultaneously with this. Let's make sure we don't forget Winnie Cooper. We'll jot these down and organize them later. But Winnie Cooper, one of the earliest crushes from your old pal Ann. Big
sure.
time crushing on Winnie Cooper.
Yep.
You crushing on Winnie Cooper?
Winnie Cooper was all right. I was into the Saved by the Bell gang more
Okay.
than the.
Because we're 5 years old when this show hits the air, so this was early.
Yeah, this was like intro to hey, girls or something.
Yeah, like, oh, you kiss girls. Like, oh, I see how it works.
And if you have a friend named Paul, you treat him like shit.
Yes. Yeah.
Sorry,
And then-
Paul, in the chat.
And then I thought, like, oh my God, I hope I don't have to wear a fucking Jets jacket to score with chicks like as hot as Winnie Cooper.
I didn't realize they were in New York.
Uh,
I thought they were Midwest somewhere. I thought they were like Chicago or.
I think they were, but I think he was still rocking the Jets jacket. So
that was a great show. The father was just a classic father.
Oh yeah.
I mean, the mother too was great. They were all good stuff.
Do you remember that moment when it was kind of like right around the time of like Home Alone, where you're like, oh shit, that's the guy who narrates the Wonder Years. Like I had no idea that, like when you put the Daniel Stern thing together.
Yeah. That was it was weird because you hear the voice, you're like, oh. But 5 years, you hear that voice, you're like, oh, Wonder Years.
Number 89, The Carol Burnett Show.
Never watched it. A little before our time.
Another big show. I think that would be higher.
Yeah.
On the list. Everybody has a lot of love for Carol Burnett. Kind of like one of those first ladies of TV. Hold on a second. Here comes our Carol Burnett. That's J Sabs. What up, J Sabs?
Okay. Even though I'm not a fan of like old shows, the Carol Burnett show, someone told me that I remind them of. Wait. Yeah, I remind me of her.
Of Carol Burnett?
Yeah, of like my joking around. I don't know.
Yes, you're very much like Carol Burnett. Very
much.
You do tug on your ear when you say goodnight.
Oh God.
That I know.
Maybe if it was a perverted Carol Burnett.
That's fair. That's okay. I never heard Carol Burnett use the term like asshole or
glory hole, anything with hole,
rim job. But she would go to all those places. She wouldn't. There was nowhere where Carol wouldn't go, which I think is with the similarities of where you come.
Pioneer.
Very much so. Yeah. Very, very much so. 88, The Crown on Netflix.
Oh my God, is this top 100?
Yes.
Yeah, it is.
Oh Lord, I guess this is what we're doing for the rest of the night, which is a cool half an hour for me.
One topic.
This is one topic.
Everybody take note. Janine came in at 89. Let's see where she.
Let's see how far. See what she jumps off.
Start making bets. Is she going to make it into the 50s? Who knows? We'll see.
Yeah. Place your bets. All right. So what was it? 89 is what?
The Crown.
The Crown. Saw the first season of The Crown. Thought it was great. I think Johnny Carson should have been a little higher than The Crown.
Yeah. How's the fucking Crown better than Johnny Carson? 30 goddamn years of doing live, relevant television every fucking night. Are you kidding me? Oh, and by the way, did you know that when the Tonight Show started, it was like fucking 2.5 hours?
Whoa.
It was mostly an
That's
hour
a
and a half for
marathon.
most of his years. He didn't trim it down to an hour until
Trim.
the 80s.
Fucking Robitussin.
The guy could hold an audience, man. That guy knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
And
That's
you
gonna
got
be the
Hio sitting next to him.
Oh yeah. I know. I'm gonna tweet at fucking Rolling Stone right now. Be like your
Still
list is
never watched
bullshit.
The Crown, but it's on my list. And I've
Only
seen
watched
a
the first
lot of
season.
TV shows. I have seen a lot of TV shows.
Did you see Squid Game?
No, I actually didn't.
All right, that's on this list. It was like number 97
Okay.
or something. It was great. There's only one season in. It was great. So what are we up to now? 88.
Oh, we get some bot in there now.
No, don't kick out the bots. We need the numbers for this episode. We're departing from our normal format. We need help.
Yeah. In fact, if you guys know any bots, invite them in.
Invite
All
them
right.
in.
Hold on.
All right, that's The Crown. Let's see. We should also make a list of the shows that's on the list to watch that we haven't gotten to, because I feel like my list is impressive.
Of shows you haven't seen.
Meaning, like, I have a lot of great shows that I have not seen yet.
Well,
Like,
if you
gonna
keep
get to that.
if you keep watching Dave Matthews fucking YouTubes, maybe you'll get a chance to watch a TV show. Just saying. The best of Dave Matthews.
So Janine came out swinging.
Okay, the quick 30-second thing. I see one of the producers, one of the guys who produced a couple of Dave Matthews records, was on this like podcast, right? And I start watching it. So these guys are like sucking this guy's dick. They're like, "Oh, you're such a great producer, this and that." And they're going on and like, "Oh," then they're talking about the songs, like that song and this and that. We're such huge fans and blah blah blah. So the guy goes, "What was your favorite Dave Matthews records to produce?" And the guy goes, he names one, and the hosts know what it is. The second fucking record he names, he goes, like, "Have you heard that record?" And the host goes, "No, I never heard that record." I almost threw my iPad across the fucking room. I'm like, how could you be like doing this interview? You know, the fucking second thing the guy ever produced, you never fucking heard. Like, it was, I forget the name of it. If I find the name, I'm gonna call them out because I really pissed me off. Something hot.
You know what though? It's Dave Matthews. If you heard the first album, you heard
exactly.
the second.
It's just repetitive. Sounds all the same.
Fuck you guys. 87, The Kids in the Hall. I guess the Canadian was on the list of making this list.
Hey, we got a Korean movie, Korean TV show on the list. So a Canadian,
what's Squid Game?
Squid Game's Korean. So now we got Canadian. All right.
Is it in English or is it like dubbed over?
They have it dubbed. When I first started watching it, it was dubbed, and I was like, this is not lining up for me. This wasn't working. So I did the subtitles. If you're gonna watch the show, I highly recommend you switch it off of dubbing and do subtitles, because the acting is way better. If you're hearing the actual actors.
Oh wait, hold on. Real talk. I hate when there's something that looks amazing on Netflix. You turn it on, and they're definitely talking another language, but it's like English over it.
Yeah. Dubbing,
oh, it's terrible.
Because you're not getting the actor that's on screen. You're not getting his acting. You're getting some guy reading it. Which, okay, that might work sometimes, but it didn't work for this.
And it doesn't translate over well. It does not.
Doesn't translate, right. They said that, too. It's not exact the way they translated it. So go with the subtitles. Way better.
Shout out Lindy. Love Kids in the Hall. Forgot about that show. Again, Dave Foley, Bruce McCulloch, Kevin McDonald, Mark McKinney, like huge cast, went on to do a whole bunch of great shit.
What happened to Mark McKinney?
I don't know.
I
think he's still around. All right, 86, The Bob Newhart Show.
Bob Newhart, he's still ticking.
Didn't watch that either. It's old.
72 to 78. I love Bob Newhart. Great show. I got to be honest with you. I love Bob Newhart more in his like interview appearances than anything else.
He's good in he was good in Elf. He's good.
Oh, it's phenomenal in Elf. Yeah.
Good in a lot of.
All right. Again, this is an easy one. You got to flip flop these if you're making this list and you see Bob Newhart next to this one. But Orange is the New Black.
Yes, I watched the entire series.
Netflix 2013 to 2019. Okay, here's my thing, Jay Sabs.
Great show, but
I'm in it for the first 2 or 3 seasons, then I kind of fell off it a little and I never went back to it.
yeah,
It was weird because nothing was like drawing me back. Again, similar to Oz. Like I loved Oz, right? A lot of great ass rape. Did I mention that about Oz?
a couple times.
But then you get to a certain point where you're like, okay, how is this all happening in prison, really, though? I mean, how many times are we gonna? There's one scene, not to be a spoiler alert, but where one of the prisoners breaks out and takes like a bath in somebody's house, and I'm like, I feel like we're doing some weird things here. In the beginning, when everybody's like eating each other out, and they're like, oh, okay, this is a little interesting. Let's see where this goes.
Well, it was a
Wait,
minimum.
hold
It's
on. What
a.
did you just say?
I think it was a minimum security place, so it wasn't.
It was.
Yeah, so it wasn't like Max, like because there is a season where they go to Max, and there's all this crazy stuff,
Well,
But there were some episodes where you're like,
Did you watch the whole thing?
I did.
Okay, and you were like, eh. And Jay Sabs, you watched the whole
liked it.
thing. What do you think?
I liked it.
I loved it.
You loved it.
I loved it.
The main characters got annoying. What's her name? Piper, the blonde.
Yep.
She got really annoying really fast. But thank God they focused a lot on the other characters. So
Well, it was like, is she a lesbian or is she not a lesbian? Because she was with that guy. But also, we binge
she was
watched
bi.
it during
during the
COVID.
vid,
So we got to watch it straight through, whereas you guys probably had to wait, right?
We had to wait year. Yeah, we had to wait for the seasons every.
Yeah,
So you watched it during the
because-
pandemic. I feel like we should put an asterisk on this because we were all in a vulnerable place during those 2 years.
yeah, we loved everything. Was there
every
anything
sh-
negative?
Every show was great during the pandemic. We were like, "This is great. Look what we could watch." Yeah.
I like.
It's a good show. Little known fact: one of the theaters that I used to consult for was in season 2. I think
Oh, really?
it was in the season. It was an episode that Jodie Foster directed, and she was there. Anybody sees it. It says Suffolk, Suffolk is a big marquee, and it's in there. It's in one of the flashback sequences that one of the girls
Yeah.
like.
I missed opportunity to hang out with one of the girls. Another missed opportunity
Yeah.
on the show.
Which
She
one?
was older Spanish woman, short.
Mm-hmm.
She's from Queens though, which is why I almost got to hang out with her because she was hanging out with my friends one night at this place in Rockaway, and I was supposed to go.
So what the
See,
hell?
See, that's how I could tell you're not on a big show if you're hanging out in Rockaway. Like that means you've not made it.
No, I don't think so because Rockaway is very cool to hang out. It's very hipster nowadays.
Shut the fuck up. Are you for real?
Maybe
I'm
nowadays.
serious.
But when was this?
This was a few years ago. It wasn't.
Yeah, it
that,
wasn't cool back then. Now it's
No, it started to become cool a few years ago too. It's
Holy
it's
shit.
very hipsterish there.
all right.
I'm shocked.
All right. So what's 85? Are we up to?
Hold on,
Is it Maria Conchita Alonso?
Maria.
Thanks, GZDR4Ev for that one from Twitch.
No,
Watching on Twitch.
she wasn't even on Orange Is the New Black. Was she?
I don't know. One of the girls. Okay, all right. I'll tell you what I liked about Orange Is the New Black. Same thing I liked in Oz. Every now and then, one of the inmates banged a prison guard. I like that.
Yes.
Yeah, but when that happens in Orange Is the New Black, it turns into a whole thing. Like she got pregnant, and it was a big. It's like the whole
Yeah, who's that?
storyline.
Who's the girl who got pregnant? She's big on social right now. She's big on TikTok. That girl.
Doing what?
Got a huge following, banging security guards. I think, but I'm not.
Oh,
I'm not.
okay.
First of
Good for
all,
her.
let me tell you what happened to that security guard. He was hot in the show, and then last year he came out on a show on Netflix. Not hot.
Not
He
hot.
gained a lot of weight, and I was like, "Where's this guy from? I know him. Where do I know him from?" And
You
then
know
when
him
I
from your wedding photos because he kind of looks exactly like your husband.
you think so?
I can't picture him right now
Are we
too
thinking
well.
of the same
but
person?
I'm pretty sure he looks like he's got black hair, gorgeous big eyes. That's pretty sure that's Janine's husband.
Gorgeous big eyes.
He's got nice big eyes.
His name is Matt McGorry.
Bad name.
Okay. 80. What are we up to?
85.
All right. And that was Orange is the New Black.
Yeah, and here's another thing too. A lot of the not a lot, but a bunch of the people that were on Orange is the New Black were in Oz. It was a little strange
Yep.
to kind of see that. A couple of the people were.
All right, that's weird.
Yeah. So that's that. Moving along, going over the Rolling Stone top 100 TV shows of all time. 84 on FX from 2014 till now. Fargo.
Nah.
Oh no. It was good. The first 2 seasons were good. First season was great, and then it kind of
Not
just
me.
it went off the rails.
Was it me or wasn't Chris Rock in one of the more recent seasons?
He was in the 4th season or the 5th season, something like
And
that.
it looked like was it like a flashback season? Because it looked like they were.
Yeah, it was like the 20s or the 30s.
How
or
did that
something.
happen?
They just start you there. They're just like, here we are in the 30s, and it's with it all. It's telling you about how the mafia took over this area of the upper northwest, and I don't know. It's just rival gangs and all this stuff. It just my wife and we were watching that season, and we were just like, we completely lost interest. It was not good.
Oh, Jeannie, I thought you were gonna say something.
No, that's not my thing. But it's okay.
What's not your thing? Oh, Fargo.
Yeah.
First season
All right.
was great.
Number 83. I'm Alan Partridge
Never heard of it.
on the BBC from 1997 to 2002.
That's why. That's
Yeah, we
why.
can skip past
BBC.
So
Next.
Johnny
English
Carson was
people.
worse than I Am Alan Partridge.
that. That's
Is
bullshit.
that what we're saying?
Big
That's
pile
where
of
we are?
horse shit.
Okay.
Yeah. 82. Party Down on
Never heard
Good
Stars.
show. I think
From
they're bringing it
2009
back.
to
Good show.
2010. Was that one
That's
season?
what?
Was that one season? It's on for
What'd you
1
say?
year? Yep, we're losing Frankie.
No, it had a couple of seasons. I thought
Yeah, he's off now. I
maybe
can
2
see him.
seasons.
Adam
I'm
Rich.
off. Am I back?
Yeah, you're back.
Okay. Yeah, good show. Lizzie Kaplan.
Adam Scott. I'm sorry, I said Adam Rich.
Adam Scott. What's her name? Why am I blanking on her name? Tall, blonde woman.
Beverly.
Beverly. She's a 40-year-old virgin. Jane Lynch.
Mhm.
Jane Lynch was in it. Great show. I thought it was funny. It's about
All right, let me s-
caterers that go to different
Let me
jobs.
say something that might get me in trouble with some of the lesbians out there. Not a fan of Jane Lynch.
Ooh.
Don't
Why?
love her.
I love Jane
I've had to
Lynch. She's
be.
great.
By the way, this is the first time I've ever said this publicly. I've remained in hiding for the last 15 years of her popularity.
Why don't you like Jane Lynch?
Yeah,
Yeah, I could see that.
she's okay. She's good in a couple of things. Next thing I know, she's in every TV show. She's got game shows. It's too much.
I think she's great. She's great.
She's like a second class Ellen.
No.
Yes.
Come on. No.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Ellen, with all the recent stuff that went on,
It's
Jane
like
Lynch
the lesbians
is
looked at
way
Ellen and they
better.
go, "I like it, but can it be taller?" And then they're like, "I know Jane Lynch."
Or
guys
they
are
like,
nuts.
wait, where do I know you from? Are you El? Never mind.
Jane Lynch is incredible. She's great.
Number 81. Without this show, we wouldn't have J Sabs. Literally, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Great show.
17 years that show has been going for.
I think it should be higher on the list, to be honest.
Now, I don't know if it's 17 seasons, just so everybody clarify.
Yeah, I think
but
it
it's
is.
been on since 2005.
I think it
Yeah.
is. Danny DeVito is hilarious in it.
Yeah, Danny DeVito
They're all
is good.
great. They're all great.
Although he's endorsing Jersey Mike's now, and although I love him and he's funny, it's a bit much.
Hey, we need a good hero place.
Many times in my life, over the last 17 years, I've been told that I look like her, which
Yes.
people in the chat have said it. People
Have
have
I
her
told you tonight? Because tonight you really look like her a lot.
What is her name again?
I don't know. The J-Sabs girl.
Caitlin something.
Yeah.
Moss.
No.
Jenner.
The funniest was I had to be, where was I?
Caitlin Olsen.
There you go, Bob's Furniture Store. And these two guys came up to me and they're like, "Excuse me." And I was like, "Yes." They're like, "We're really sorry to bother you, but are you that girl from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia?" And I was
Tell me you
like,
said yes.
"No, I was an idiot." I said, "Why the fuck would that girl in It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia be shopping at Bob's in Queens?"
She's got to sit down on furniture too.
And they were like,
Dude,
"That's exactly what how she would say it." So I was like,
if you would have said yes, they would have gave you a couch for free. I mean,
Yeah. Oh, just include this couch on the next episode. Sure.
yeah.
You got it.
What are couches going for at Bob's Discount Furniture these days? $49.99?
"Oh
$17
no,
bucks?
they upped their price." Thanks, Joe Biden.
Yeah, I know things are. I perused. I'm like, oh, maybe it's time to get a new Bob's Discount Furniture couch. Then I looked and I was like, holy shit, we gotta do some better numbers on the podcast if that's gonna happen.
I'll
Suddenly,
build you
They
a
definitely
couch
took out
half the price.
discount out of the title.
he's no shit. Bob's inflation furniture is what
Wanted
it
to
should be.
put a
Fucking.
Bob
Oh,
furniture.
Fucking thing. All right. Anyway, 80 Band of Brothers HBO.
I think you skipped a couple.
No, I didn't.
No, he did.
What was 81?
So always setting in Philadelphia.
Oh, okay. All right.
Frank's
all right.
drinking.
My bad.
I'm drinking.
I'm drinking Arizona.
Oh,
So what was it? What was number 80?
Band of Brothers.
Never saw it.
me either.
Did you see Saving Private Ryan?
Yes.
Yes.
Close enough. All right, moving on. Number 79, Mr. Show with Bob and David.
Nope.
Never saw it.
All right. So it was Bob Odenkirk and David Cross. I will say this.
They're both
If
great.
if we were in Brooklyn right now, we would have been torn to pieces because
Boy.
the fucking hipsters love this show. Like, this is the epitome of like cool, off the radar, like, oh man, if you don't know, you don't know. Like, like that's Mr. Show.
All right.
It was like never hugely popular, but it was, I mean, everybody says it was funny. I have no idea. I've never seen a fucking episode, but everybody who wants you to think that they're cool goes, oh, I fucking Mr. Show is like the greatest.
Obviously.
Kudos to Lindy, who points out we're all drinking. I hope everybody's drinking during this episode, especially those who listen to it the following morning.
Well,
A little morning drinking. Nice.
Number 78. This is, I think, going to be enraging to a lot of people. HBO, 1998 to 2004.
Sopranos.
Sex
that
in the
Larry
City.
Sanders?
Oh.
Wow.
Ooh.
Sex
That's
in the
low.
City at number 78.
I'm leaving.
Good. Show
Only
sucked.
for that reason.
I got to say, I'm not the biggest fan of the show, but this show spurred what? 2 movies? Again, cultural impact
3.
pretty high. 3?
No, 2 movies and a comeback.
2 movies. 2 movies.
Show.
You're right.
Comeback series.
Show sucked.
Again, no, but I mean, come on, cultural impact.
Frank,
Sex
you're
in
not
the
a
City.
woman. You're not a woman, so you're not gonna like.
It's not. No, it's not about that. It's
It is.
every time I watched it, it was cliche after cliche after cliche. Oh, he left the toilet seat up. I can't. It's like, shut up. It was
That's-
the
by the
worst
way,
writing, in my opinion.
That's the first time Janine has ever said that Frank's not a woman, because usually she says, stop being such a pussy. So that's how upset Janine is at the ranking of
Yeah, I'm
Sex in
so
the
mad I
City.
can't even think straight.
Sex in the City sucked. Not the movie. I didn't see Sex in the City 2, the movie. But all you need to know from it, I would imagine, is in the trailer, she walks into this hotel and goes, "I don't think we're in Kansas anymore." Like, that's such an original line. Could you imagine the writers sitting there going, "Oh, maybe she should say this. That's brilliant." It's like, no, that's the worst line you could have written in that scene. I'm sorry, but it was just cliche after cliche. With
I
that
was
one.
just gonna point that comment out. I had a raging boner from Kim Cattrall.
We all did.
Maybe
I
in
think.
Mannequin.
Ugh.
Who's good in Mannequin?
Kim Cattrall has never stopped being hot. It doesn't matter the age. I would argue she's better now than she was in Mannequin.
Mhm.
Yeah, whatever. She's fine.
Hotter in Sex in the City, I think, than Mannequin.
Yeah, I guess.
I don't know. Again, I have a bit like books, CDs, like you know,
It's a brand.
it was larger than life. It was one of those things that
I
transcended just the TV show.
I am not denying its impact and its popularity. What I am denying is the goodness of the show. I just didn't think it was
See,
that. I think it was overrated, in my opinion.
it's sexist like Frank that were in the room making this list over at Rolling
Right.
Stone magazine.
It's probably right.
Yeah. Moving on up, Jefferson's all the way up to 77 on the east side.
It's a
Moving
great
on
show.
up.
1975 to 1985, 10 years.
What's his name? What was
Sherman
the guy's
Helmsley.
name? Sherman Helmsley. Great. He was hysterical.
Probably gonna
Hilarious.
watch that show today though.
Why not?
I didn't like it. It was okay.
I
Eh.
grew up with that show. That was a great show.
Sex and the City was better than it.
No,
Although
it
not-
wasn't apparently.
apparently not. Right.
Barely not. George and Wheezy, great show, like all around good.
Yep.
Number 76, I haven't heard of this one. 5 years running on FX, 2010 to 15. Justified?
I've heard of that. Never seen it.
Haven't heard of it.
I never saw a second of it. I couldn't tell you anything about it.
It's better than the Jeffersons, Sex in the City, and the Tonight Show with Johnny Carson. That's all you need to know.
And It's Always Sunny in
Um,
Philadelphia for 17 years. I doubt it.
Yeah, it feels
This
crazy. All
list
right,
is
now
bullshit so far.
the same way Janine lost her shit at Sex in the City. Here we go at number 75. I think we're about to lose Frank
Oh
here.
no! Don't tell me.
1993 to 2004. NBC.
Obviously, it's
It's not
Seinfeld.
Seinfeld. No,
No.
Not Seinfeld.
no, they ended in '99, I believe. What the hell? NBC?
Tossed salad and scrambled.
Frasier. Oh no!
Frasier.
At 75? Oh come on! This
75.
list. I don't know who put this list together.
Now
I
you're
did-
upset.
I
I
did
am
like
upset.
that show. I did like that show.
Frasier should be higher on the list.
We used to
Now,
watch it
does
all the
he?
time.
Spoiler alert here. Does he bang the producer? Does he marry her? Do they stay together? That's all I really remember.
Do you want me to tell you the whole thing? Do you want me to?
No,
spoil
I
it
just
for
wanted you to answer the one question.
There is an episode where they bang, but they don't. They're friends.
They don't stay together?
No.
Mm.
Aw.
John Mahoney, by the way, just
Oh,
him being
legend.
included on that show should have knocked this thing up another 30 slots.
Agreed.
All
He was
right, now
great.
I'm fucking quitting. I'm disgusted.
What, the Dave
fucking
Matthews Show
disgusted.
didn't make it on the list? What?
No, you got to be. This is a fucking top 5 show. They put it at number 74.
Sopranos?
No,
What?
CBS, 1955 to 1956.
Spanning 2
It
years?
sounds like it's going to be a horrible show. Go ahead.
This is one season.
The Honeymooners.
Yeah,
74?
you're right. You are right.
You've
I
got
have
to be.
I have to disagree with the both of you. I'm going to get shit on for this. I know this. I fucking hate.
You have. Oh, you're out of your mind.
Mean.
They crammed like 36 episodes into that one season, and they were all great. And especially for the time,
No.
it was
It
amazing.
preceded every single show has stolen the format of the Honeymooners. Every one of them. He set up conflict on television and made it funny. Go ahead.
It has a lot of strikes for me. First strike is it's black and white, and I don't like TV shows.
Come
that
on,
are in
you
black
can't
and white.
get past black and
cannot.
white.
No way. Absolutely.
What's
not.
wrong? It's
They
had
couldn't
no
help it.
choice.
So the
They
only
had no
show that's
choice.
like a maybe for me is the Twilight Zone.
Oh my
That
god!
I could stomach that more than I can stomach the Honeymooners. The Honeymooners, that it's just corny. I don't like that.
It's from the 50s.
Corny. I can't get. And then
It would be corny today, but back in
Right.
the 50s.
No. And then
Oh.
Brian said we're like the Three Stooges. Thank you, Brian. I don't know. And then also he says that Alice fucking line. What does he say?
To the moon, Alice.
I fucking hate that shit. I hate that show.
Why?
Oh, now I'm getting more annoyed.
Why?
I'm
It's
annoyed that you guys think that's a good show.
oh my god!
you
It's
crazy?
the great. It's top 5 show. It's top 5 show.
It should have
Top
been the top.
5.
If
Oh.
not, definitely top 10.
Yeah, you should love it because I'll tell you what. Even though he says to the moon, Alice wins every single time.
Every time.
Like that's like this was such a fucking like woman forward show because he fucking looks
Because
like
he was
an
a bubbling
asshole.
idiot in every
Yeah.
episode.
and
she was the smart
always
one.
wins all the time, every episode.
Both women,
Oh my
her and Trixie.
Sorry.
Oh my
Oh, you're
god!
nuts. You are nuts.
Fuck Rolling Stone magazine. I am upset.
You're telling me there's 74 shows. Oh, no, what was that? That was 74, right?
I'm afraid.
There's-
Yeah, I'm afraid to go to 73 right now.
73 shows that are better than the Honeymooners?
Absolutely.
Fucking say you got to be shit. The next show is on UPN. No UPN show should be on this fucking list. Are you crazy? Buffy the Vampire Slayer is better than the Honeymooners.
No, it is not.
1000%.
No, it is not. No, sorry.
I don't care how hot
Good
Sarah
list.
Michelle Gellar is. This is fucking batshit
Good
crazy.
list. And if it has to be 73, fine. But if that's the case, then you're moving Frasier, Honeymooners, and Johnny Carson up the list and moving some of them down. Because, yeah, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, I'll give you that it was a huge show when it was out. Everybody was watching it. But
By the way,
Honeymooners there were like 3 stations and the Honeymooners was on. That's it.
yeah. Can I just say this too? You can't be on this list. This Buffy the Vampire Slayer started on the WB and finished on UPN. Okay, so the fucking network couldn't even stay together. I mean, you got to be kidding me.
Granted, it was big when it was around. Everybody, you can't deny that.
You cannot.
But it doesn't have the longevity. I mean, especially look at the honeymoon. You could watch the Honeymooners today and still laugh.
No, you can't. You can't. That's
You can't. I can't. Wait a minute, because your reasoning is that it's in half of why you don't like it is because it's in black and white,
Yeah,
which
no,
is just
that's a big no.
ridiculous to me.
That's a big no. That's a big no.
They have a couple of episodes in color, but they're not as funny. To be honest with you, the color ones are not as funny.
Yeah, you're right. That's the truth.
Listen to me. I start my year with the Honeymooners every New Year.
Absolutely.
As soon
New
as
Year's,
it's
the
midnight, I go right over to Channel
Marathon.
11, watch
Boom.
the Honeymooners. Yeah. I
That's a
wonder.
beautiful thing.
Okay.
Toilet Zone, you pussy.
What?
What?
All I heard was your pussy. I didn't hear what started.
I heard
What?
play the xylophone, you pussy. That's what I heard.
No, I said put on the Twilight Zone, you pussy.
Oh, get out of here.
Twilight Zone's great too. I love the
I bet you
Twilight
it's
Zone,
on the
but
list,
it's
and I bet
also
you-
black and white.
Yeah, it's on there.
I would love to know
Wait a
from the
minute,
people.
what about I Love Lucy? Did you watch that? Because it's black and white?
My
I
mother
bet you
used to watch that. No, I think it's another thing. It's very corny.
I bet you. Yeah, well, you know what? That's consistent. I wouldn't expect you to like I Love Lucy if you don't like the Honeymooners. But I bet you I Love Lucy is in the top 20 because they just made a fucking Harvey. What's that guy's name?
Javier Bardem.
Bardem fucking movie on it. So
It was a great movie. I enjoyed that movie.
these fucking millennial nerds that are at Rolling Stone just saw that. Oh, that's a good show. We got to put that up higher on the list. Okay, here's what I want to know from people in the comments. If you watch the Honeymooners at New Year's Eve, and you're not in New York, what channel does that come on? Because in New York, the
It's one of the
Honeymooners
main networks.
but that's Pix 11. That's only local to us.
Right.
So that's not across the country. It's not like it's on NBC or CBS. So I'm curious to see if people even know about that tradition, and if they do, what channel is it on in your area? Because I would love to know that. All right, number 72, Good Times, played on CBS from 1974 to 1979.
Dynamite.
Yep. Number 71 on FX for 6 years. Better Things.
Better Things is
Yep.
better than the Honeymooners?
Yeah, I know, it's fucking crazy. Now
Never
this
heard
is,
of this.
This is Pamela Adlon, who, if you don't recognize her name, she played Louis C.K.'s wife when Louis C.K. had a TV show. if you
Okay.
remember that. She's very funny. This is on my list of shit to watch that I might not ever get to.
I never heard of this show. I doubt a lot of people have. This list I mean, how is the Honeymooners lower on the list than the one
Oh,
you
I
just
know
said?
how.
I can't even remember the name of it.
Okay. This next TV show gave us Rick Moranis, Eugene Levy, John Candy, just to name a few. It's
This
the
is
best thing that's ever come out of Canada besides hockey. That's SCTV.
All right. It's basically Canada's version of Saturday Night Live, right?
Oh.
Basically, yes. And then what eventually wound up happening is Lorne Michaels was like, "Oh, those Canadians are funny. Let me just take every last one of those stars and put them on Saturday Night Live." And that's basically,
Right.
and they all left to go to do Saturday
Hi,
Night
Kitty.
Live.
Yep.
That's basically what happened. Martin
Fucking
Short,
John Candy was a legend. We lost him way too soon.
way too soon. Doug McKenzie, lots of great things. Okay, now I thought this show would have been higher, appropriate number, but should have been higher on the list. Number 69, Chappelle Show. That
Chappelle
should be
Show's
higher.
good show. I like the Chappelle Show, but there were this whole list is jumbled around for me because Frasier. I'd rather Frasier's better.
All right, we lost that.
Honeymooners is better.
He's not gonna.
No,
You're
not
like
just.
a. You're
It's
like
the
a
first time I
pitcher.
brought up Frasier.
You're like a pitcher who gives up a home run to the opposing pitcher in the third inning, and now you've lost your stuff for the rest of the night. You can't. You're not going to be able to get it together.
Well, to be fair, the Honeymooners thing was a huge blow.
You were upset about that, which comforted me a bit when you got that mad about that.
I mean that is a top 10 show. At least.
Thank you. Chappelle Show is legendary, though. I mean, when you think about all the great bits, Rick James, his impressions of Prince, Lil Jon, the fucking bit where he's a black blind guy who
In the Ku
hates
Klux
black
Klan?
people and he joins the Ku Klux Klan. I mean, Jesus, that's
funny.
hysterical.
That is
Absolutely
funny.
hysterical. And I don't know another show on this list that stopped in its prime and left so much fucking money on the table, Seinfeld included, which left a lot of money on the table.
They stopped in their prime. They were number one when they stopped.
A lot of shows stop at number one, but Seinfeld, I think they were doing $1 million an episode for each cast person, and I think they were willing to go up to like 5 or 7 for Jerry and 5 or 3 for the rest of them per episode, and they walked away from that. That's still not as much as Chappelle. I think Chappelle walked away from $53 million to do another season. I think that was the number.
Why would he walk away from it?
It was too much. It got out of control.
One show?
It just got out of control. He did, I don't even know how many seasons. 3 seasons? Maybe. By the way, also, Neil Brennan doesn't get enough credit. He ran that show with Chappelle. He was 50% of that show. And only recently have people even started to learn and understand who Neil Brennan is. He's hysterical.
Yeah.
All right. So that was 69. 68.
68, Faulty Towers. I mean, I don't
What?
Don't know it.
What is that?
BBC from 75 to 79.
Don't even bother with the BBC shows because we have no clue.
Okay,
That
we should
was
skip all
better
those.
than the Honeymooners, sure.
All right, number 67 on ABC from 1993 to 2005, NYPD Blue.
Oh, okay.
All right. Good show.
Yep.
Got a lot of Dennis Franz going on in there.
I like it because the fat guy was like sexy. They were like, hey, let's make this fat balding guy like a thing. And he
Yeah.
Let's
wasn't-
show his ass on every other episode, and
right.
we got a show.
Wasn't too much of an embarrassment, so I could appreciate that. All right, here we go. Number 66, The Daily Show with Jon Stewart.
Great show.
I would
Give you
agree
that.
putting that middle of the pack, not better than Johnny Carson. Again,
No.
that's kind of crazy.
That is crazy. I mean, culture. Yeah, 30 years with Johnny Carson. That's what was he in the 90s on the list? Johnny
Yeah.
Carson. Yeah,
He was
that's-
94 or something like that.
That's ridiculous.
Let's use this as an opportunity to talk about Trevor Noah, who last night announced that he was leaving The Daily Show.
Right, 7 years.
A lot of people
Burnett.
speculating, and I'm going to be honest because I saw a couple of people kind of buzz about this. He was fired. I mean,
Yeah, I think so.
You think
Because
For
the
what?
whole thing with that guy.
The whole thing with that guy?
Oh wait, I'm thinking of Don Lemon. Remember his friend lied That one actor. The
Don't
one
know.
who said that
Jesse
Oh yeah,
Smollett.
Jesse
Yeah.
Smollett. Yeah.
Okay.
The Daily Show with Jon Stewart in its heyday did 2.5 million viewers per episode. Trevor Noah is struggling to get 400,000. That's the
Ooh.
most he's ever really gotten.
yeah.
He got fired.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Like,
Yeah.
it was a bit of a surprise to see him announce it just kind of randomly. Nobody leaked it or anything like that. But I mean, and
I
I'll
liked
just say
him on the
this:
show. I thought he was good.
no, he stinks. He's a
Oh.
funny guy, but he stinks as the host of that show. And I'll tell you why. Jon Stewart was actually fair. He gave he was very hard on the Republicans. He was obviously personally a Democrat. We knew that, but he was never afraid to shit on a Democrat or take them to task if he needed to. Trevor Noah does not do that, and that's why he has completely lost
Oh yeah.
the
I
audience.
was gonna say that he's completely one-sided, and that's it.
Awfully one-sided, and
Yeah.
and I don't know if they need a new showrunner or better writers, but that show stinks, and he's funnier than that show because his stand-up is much funnier. But also Stephen Colbert, Samantha Bee, John Oliver. There's so many people now that are out there doing that exact show, so it's a little.
That's
tougher
true.
to-
I'll give you that.
All right, number 65, HBO show again, 2012 to 2017, Girls.
I love Girls. I knew he didn't like it. Ellie. Frank.
I'm not a fan of Lena Dunham.
Woman empowerment. We get it.
Nope, not at all. I love women empowerment shows and movies, whatever.
Pussy
Women,
power. We
I
get
root for
it.
women. I root for women, but I just not a Lena Dunham fan. Just she rubs me the wrong way.
Because she's heavy? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
No, she's obnoxious.
I'm surprised, Frank. She's a huge liberal.
I don't have to like every liberal.
Come on, you love them.
Okay.
All right, but come on.
Maybe if the show was in black and white, then I'd like.
Maybe you would.
with
This is the
subtitles.
show that gave us Adam Driver, who gave us a lot of Star Wars stuff. Nothing there?
Not really.
Okay, wow.
Love the show. I didn't watch it from the beginning though. I think I
No?
was maybe the second season or third season in, and I was like, let me try this. And I was like, oh, I binge watched it. I was like, yeah, this is good. Even though she loves to show off her tits and she doesn't really have like a Hollywood body. So
No,
That's
that
why-
just goes to show you how great that show was, that everybody was able to sit through all her nude scenes and fuck, it was like, this is still a great show.
exactly. No.
I am with Janine. I love this show too. I thought it was just well written, well acted, super interesting, a lot of sex. I mean, I don't think we would have had my son if it wasn't for this show. A couple of drunken girls' nights.
Yeah, I get it.
We got to see Allison Williams, who's the guy on NBC, the host there. Brian Williams.
Brian
Yeah.
Williams.
Brian Williams' daughter naked a bunch of times. It's a famous scene too where she
Oh,
takes
I
a
know
guy's
this
face
scene.
and shoves it in her own asshole. Big scene.
I love that. And then I recreated that scene with my roommate, and that was the end of that show.
What is that? He didn't want to do it anymore.
He was like, please don't let me watch this again. Please don't make me watch this again.
No, it's a great show. Again, gave us Adam Driver. I remember watching him in the beginning. He was so fucking weird.
Yeah.
But you couldn't help watch the guy because you're like, this guy's so weird, but I fucking like it. Because when he kind of leaves for a little bit, you're like, I fucking miss that big, tall, weird guy with the nose.
He was weird, and he was also a dick. He was a dick. You wouldn't think so because you're a guy, but he was a dick.
Man, a lot of generalizing today.
Yeah, but
Her new
go
show
ahead.
is good though too.
Who, Lena Dunham?
Yeah.
I didn't
She
know
has a
she
new
was in
show?
I think it's called
Yes.
Women's.
Women's.
Um,
It's called You Have to Like Me Because I'm a Liberal.
Fuck you guys. Women's
and you
is
have to agree with
hysterical.
everything she says.
Right. All right, what,
No,
what
but-
number was that? 68?
As you look this up, Janine, think about this now. Adam Driver, like Lena Dunham could never get Adam Driver. Now it's such
No.
a fucking mismatch now.
I feel like it was a mismatch then.
Yeah, but you know what? On that show, it worked then because it's like he's a weirdo. Now people find him attractive because he's successful and he's had good roles and all that kind of stuff. But back then, I was just like, this guy is weird. Like he's just
Yeah.
weird.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Like you could understand why the frumpy girl got the tall, weird, huge nose guy because it's like who would want either one of them? You know?
He was a real big weirdo on that show.
Yeah.
You know what it was? I didn't care about any of them. I was like, this is like I don't care what happens to these
Oh,
people.
I disagree. Terribly interesting. And also kind of really did give an insight to what it was like to be alive in New York City during that time and in the previous 10 years. Like the party atmosphere and the places they went to were, very similar to the places that we went to.
Right.
They went to Brooklyn a lot more than we
So
did, but still.
they had good scenery. That's
You're crazy. What was I going to say too? Let's not talk about what happens, but Janine, rate the show. I want to give me a 1 to 10 on girls, and then I want you to give me a 1 to 10 on how it ended.
Ooh. I did like the ending a lot.
Wow.
I think it was very well written. Because sometimes you watch shows and you're like, you love the show, and then it comes to the ending, you're like, what the fuck? Why did that happen? Well, I have to say it was really good. Yep.
Say I rate the show an 8.5, and I rate the ending like a 4.
8.5.
Yeah, it was a good
You're
show.
nuts.
It was a good show.
You didn't like the ending.
I didn't mind the ending so much. It dragged out a bit and it left a little to be desired. I don't know. I didn't love it. I didn't really love it.
Oh God. Okay.
It was okay. I kind of liked where they were going with the whole thing, but I was a little, I don't know. Who's the guy that makes all the fucking 40-year-old virgin movies? What's his name again?
Apatow?
Yeah, Judd Apatow. That's he put Lena Dunham on and like helped run that show. Gave her all the confidence, helped her with the writing.
I'm not a huge Apatow fan.
Not a huge Apatow fan? I love Apatow.
No. It's like nobody like whenever I see people in his movie, I'm like, nobody acts like this. This is not, all the characters are like ridiculous for me.
Outside of the fact that he's the biggest cuckold director in Hollywood because he likes to watch everybody kiss his wife and bang his wife, I think he's a genius.
I don't know about genius. I think he's a director. I think he exists and he makes movies. But genius.
Number 64, NBC, 1985 to 1992. Here's a hint. It's Frank's brother's favorite show of all time.
Perfect Strangers.
Nope.
Well, the Golden Girls.
There you go. You don't even know your own brother. What is wrong with you?
He was in the chat before and he said Perfect Strangers is the greatest show of all time. That's what he said.
Oh, I don't know. He always said Golden Girls.
I love the Golden Girls too. I think that should be higher on the list.
I got to tell you something. I disagreed wholeheartedly with J Sab's black and white comment earlier. And now I kind of understand what she was saying because I can't watch the Golden Girls because of all the fucking wicker furniture in the living room.
Wow. See, you get it.
You're an ass.
It drives me crazy. I honestly can't look at it.
I feel like this is a testament to whoever put this list together. They were writing stuff down. They went, girls, ooh, Golden Girls. And they just kept going, And it was like one after the other. And I feel like that's the only reason they didn't know what to do with these. So they just smashed them together because they were writing it down. They had to get these two in.
All right. Number 63, controversial. I think this is actually in the right spot. I maybe would have put this a little lower on the list. And it's a massive show. Started in 1997 and it's still going today.
Wow, 97 to today.
If you don't have it, I'll
SVU?
No, that's a great guess though, but no. I'll give you the network and you'll get it.
Okay.
Comedy Central.
South Park?
Yeah, South Park. I was good. Darn, Frank.
So you would put it lower?
I got to tell you something. I watched now in 97 we were 15. Right down our alley, right? They were farting and pooping and it was all kinds of fun. I think I hung with South Park for a year or two, and I tapped out, and that I haven't looked at it since.
I'll give you that.
I
But
watched it for years.
yeah, but you watch it today. If you pick up
No.
a show from recent years, it's smarter than it gets credit for.
I'll agree. Now, I accidentally watched an episode the other night, and it pains me because I can't recall it now. But I remember thinking that exact, like, oh, this is actually kind of interesting and funny, but I still can't. I can't commit
I
to it.
understand. I get
Mr.
it.
Hanky, the Christmas poo. Is there any other character? Duty
Love it.
character?
Yeah, no, love it. I think I even have a Christmas poo ornament somewhere. Fucking, like I appreciate its contribution to society. Just I can't tune into it every week. Like I don't get it.
Yeah, no, I don't tune in all the time either, but there are a bunch of episodes, especially even recent ones, that are very, they address issues of, the time. They
Well,
address
I
the
will s-
pandemic, they address this, and
Because I'll say this, they fucking write that show in a week. They literally put that show together in like a week or two, whatever. They're the only TV show that's like, what's happening? All right, let's go write a fucking episode and put it on
Yeah.
TV in like 4 days.
Yeah.
yeah, they knock
Which
it
is
out of the park.
insanity to do. It's completely insane to do. Nobody
You know,
else
they
does
work
that.
their asses off.
And they are funny. They they are good.
I give them all.
There are
yeah, I give-
episodes that fall short, but a lot of the times they're pretty good.
Number 62, the Dick Van Dyke Show.
Eh,
Classic.
never
And
saw that one.
J Sab's not gonna like it because
No.
it's black and white.
Yeah.
Black and white. But
Too-
the
before my
workplace
time.
sitcom.
Next.
This is high for a show that's only come out last year.
Ooh,
Amazon Prime, number 61, The Underground Railroad. Never heard of it.
never heard of it.
Never heard of it.
We'll all move on.
Next.
Number 60. Love this show. ABC from 78 to 82, NBC from 82 to 83, Taxi.
Classic. Taxi.
Love
man.
Taxi. I mean, come on. Danny DeVito, like you
Thank
said
you very
earlier.
much.
Andy Kaufman, Tony
Yeah.
Danza,
Christopher Lloyd.
Christopher Lloyd.
A lot of people got their start on that. That was Tony Danza's big break. He did not Tony Danza. You just said him. What's his name?
Andy Kaufman.
Nope.
Danny DeVito.
Danny DeVito. That was his big break. Was Taxi. He was in Cuckoo's Nest. I went for the Cuckoo's Nest, the movie with Jack Nicholson, but he was a side guy, not too big. And then once he did Taxi, that was it. He took off.
Number 59, Comedy Central show. Only 3 years. Key and Peele.
That was an amazing show.
I got to tell you something.
Good show.
Oh, Anthony, Frank, you didn't like it?
I liked it. I didn't watch it a lot, but what the episodes I did watch, and the clips I've seen on YouTube, very funny. I thought it was great. I thought they were great.
Not only did I think that was a great show, but it is literally the least successful thing these fucking two guys have done, which
I
I
know.
did not see coming.
Well, it was the first. I feel like it was the first thing they did.
It was the first thing they did, but fucking that Jordan, was it Jordan Peele? He's the one, right?
Yep.
Directing, yeah.
All the fucking scary movies. Who saw that coming?
Right.
And everything Keegan Michael Key is in, I fucking laugh. It's the second he comes on screen. I just think he's hilarious.
Well, there was that. What was it? Did you watch the Pentaveret?
No.
That train wreck by. I mean, I love Mike Myers, but he did this show, the Pentaveret, on Netflix.
No.
It was awful, and he was in it.
Well, it's going to be on this list ahead of Johnny
Oh,
Carson.
Is
so.
that the show like about like Hollywood?
Not. It's about like the secret society that runs the world, kind of thing.
Oh, I
And
don't
it's
know.
Mike Myers playing like almost all the parts.
Oh, no.
Like everything else he does?
You're right.
Okay. Big HBO show at number 58, and I've never seen it, 6 Feet Under.
I love 6 Feet Under.
Yeah.
I've never watched it really either, but
What?
I know it's
The fuck outta here now.
I know it's
Get
really
out.
good.
Get out.
No,
Everybody says it's really good. It was in the heyday of HBO with The Sopranos and Entourage and Curb, and I've never seen it. It's kind of
Watch that one from the beginning too. Cried that their series finale. I cried. I could cry now thinking I can't think of it. Can't think
Everybody
of it. Nope.
says it's one of the best finales that's ever been on a
It
TV
really
show.
is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that is
I
the
heard
word
Really
about it.
is.
I always hear nothing but good things, and anything I've seen off of it is great. I just never sat down and watched the show.
Well,
Number. Oh, good.
watch it.
Okay.
Number 57. Again, I'm skeptical of all the new shows. Only on Netflix since 2019. Russian Doll.
So good.
Yeah?
Russian Doll.
I made your
liked.
wife watch that, right?
We watched the first. I don't remember how long. Maybe a season and a half of it. I don't know how many seasons it's in. What 2019? So it's like
Two.
the third season or fourth season.
They just made 2
2. Okay. Really? They only made 2? I thought they kept going.
because of the pandemic.
All right. But I thought they filmed during the anyway. All right. So they only made 2. I think we jumped off because we didn't finish it because we got it became like it just it
It's
started out
so
great.
good.
We were watching it. We were on board, and then it just kind of spun its wheels a little bit. We were like, all right.
JSAP flashed her famous shirt right there. My phone's about to die. I'm wearing my I'm here for cuddle shirt. All these shirts you can grab in the
You can't get this Star Wars shirt.
you're an asshole.
Sorry.
All these shirts you can grab with the link in the description below or on the site there, shopanthonyanner.com. Grab some swag, buy some shirts. JSAP's got her shirts, Frankie C's got his shirts, and then there's just generic show shirts. So
Right.
grab your favorite shirt there. Show some love, show some support for the pod. We appreciate that. 56, Community.
Great show.
Joel McHale.
They're coming out. They just announced that they're coming out with a movie.
Is that right?
That is right. Without Chevy Chase and maybe someone else, but definitely without Chevy Chase.
I feel like this became the show that became famous for the show that Chevy Chase like lost his mind and became totally racist and got fired off of.
Well, there's that, but then what's his name is on it as well. Not in the movie. I don't think he's going to be in, but what the heck is his name? This is America.
Donald Glover.
Donald Glover.
Yeah.
He was on it. He was great in it, but he's not going to be back for the movie either.
It was on NBC from 2009 to 2014, apparently on something called Yahoo Screen in 2015 for its last season. I don't know.
Okie dokie.
Donald Glover's a genius. Atlanta, I bet, is going to be on this list somewhere. Everybody loves that fucking show.
Yeah.
AMC at number 55, and it's not Mad Men. 2014 to 2017, Halt and Catch Fire.
Never heard of it.
Moving on. 54, massive show. Surprised at where this is, though this would be higher. 1994 to 2009 on NBC.
Wow.
Only has 2 letters in the title.
ER.
ER number 54.
Wow.
Again, an amazing show.
You strike me as an ER person.
Oh yeah, I love because you know what?
Clooney?
I'm very interested in medical stuff, and
Clooney.
they had the crazy. Also, that they had the craziest
Clooney.
medical. I was just interested in what people would come in the ER for, besides Clooney. Yeah.
Right.
Okay, I'm with Janine on this. I never watched the show a ton, but I do remember this one episode where somebody was choking on something, and I think it was George Clooney took a big pen, took the thing out.
Oh yeah.
Tube,
Oh, that's a classic move.
and like stabbed them in the neck so that they can get airflow again.
Yeah. You see that in
swear to
countless
you.
things. Maybe that was the first one to do it, but it's everywhere now. You can't.
There's
go
not a month that goes by where I'm not somewhere where I look at a big pen and I go, all right, there it is. If I need to fucking stab somebody in the neck and save their life, it's right there.
It's
I
right
always
there. You can do
identify the big pen.
It wasn't just for Clooney. It was for what's his name, Noah
Wiley.
Wiley.
Noah Wiley. I think I said wild just now. So
That's what made me say it. You fuck.
Yeah, that's why I just said it. Yeah, good show. And I'll tell you what else too.
Wow, that
Anthony
happened
Edwards,
to Paige's son. See that?
Oh really?
That literally happened to my son. It is real.
Wow.
Shit.
That's the emergency tracheotomy.
Yep.
Huh.
Get the.
And
so
that's
you can
right.
breathe.
That's what they call that, right?
If
Yeah.
you
Brian,
get
no,
like
I can't do pimple popper. Nope. That's one thing I can't do.
Oh, I
What
watched
is that?
Pimple Popper.
Oh.
Actually, I don't watch it. That's a show, right? I
Yeah.
only see clips on
TikToks.
on TikTok. Yeah, I can't watch
yeah.
a real show of that shit. But anyway, as I was saying, Juliana Margulies, Anthony Edwards, a lot of people were on that show, even after Clooney left. And that show continued after Clooney. Like everybody thought that show was going to sink after Clooney, and it did not.
Clooney.
Number 53, The Office, the UK version.
Okay.
Never watched the UK version.
Me either.
Neither have I, and I can't commit to it. I'm a US guy. That's it. Number 52 on HBO, Barry.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Never watched it, but it's still going.
Good
Is it
show.
good?
Very, very depressing, but I like him. So
And one of the upsides to the show is it is not black and white.
exactly. Not black and white. It's already a winner.
Henry Winkler, big comeback.
That's what she
Number
said.
51. Okay, this was a massive show. It was on from 1993 to 2002. It came back from 2016 to 2018. It was
Oh, I
on-
know it.
Go ahead.
Dexter?
Nope. Oh, good guess,
wait.
though.
Oh,
Good
yeah.
guess.
Shit. Good guess.
That's a great guess.
Too early. It was too
It
early.
was on Fox.
Murphy Brown.
No. Good. Oh, another good guess. That came back. It was
Oh,
on
I
Fox.
know. I know. With the aliens. What's it called? What's it called?
X-Files.
X-Files.
The X-Files. Way to go.
Great show.
You
Should be
guys
higher.
did that
Another
together.
show.
That was good teamwork.
Fucking love the X-Files. Okay.
Do you really?
Yes.
That's
That was a
amazing.
good show. I remember watching that in real time back in the day when it was coming out. We watched that every week.
Same
Now, all right, let me ask you this, because I think Gillian Anderson is hot as hell. Did they wind up getting together? Did they bang at the end of that show? Did they
No,
bang
I
at
don't
all in
remember.
that show?
They never did, right?
I can't remember.
It was
I don't
almost,
think they
it was
did.
a
but
lot
I
of
don't know.
sexual attention between them.
There was. So it kept it hot.
Mhm.
Hot.
Sexual tension and aliens.
Hot
My
and
two favorite
steamy.
things.
Yeah,
Right.
I like it. All right, that's 51. Right? Let's see here what's going on. Hold on, I lost.
That
my
was
place
51.
here.
Okay, we're at the 50 mark.
And that's my cue to leave soon. Go ahead.
Number 50.
And Jay Sams is still here. Oh, okay, here we go. Hold on. Fucking load. Oh, okay. All right, this is surprising. Again, we're so much unscripted shows you tend to forget. Number 50, been on television in syndication since 1984.
And still going.
Still going.
1984. Unscripted, you said.
Unscripted.
It's 1984.
In New York, it's on ABC 7.
It's still on.
Still on to this day, although it's got a new host recently.
I'm lost.
Is it? I don't know. It's not the Today Show.
It got a new host recently. Been on since
Haven't been-
1984.
Yeah, I heard all these things. Oh, okay.
Jeopardy.
Robin and Paige guest Jeopardy. Is that? Do game shows count? Or game shows are not on the list. Maybe I don't think.
We were looking for what is Jeopardy.
Oh,
S.
Jeopardy number 50.
very nice. All right, so the first game show I think is on the list.
First game show. You were like, what's number 50? First
There
game
it
show.
is.
Jeopardy.
Boom,
Now, Jeopardy or Wheel of Fortune, what's the better show?
Jeopardy.
I like Wheel of Fortune.
See, Wheel of Fortune, they got some tweaking to do. Number one, tell me if you agree with this, Jay Sabs. Always keep the puzzle on screen. If they have to do a little box on the corner, because whenever they show the puzzle and then they cut to the people that are spinning the wheel. They show the wheel. Always keep the puzzle because you're always trying to work out the puzzle in your head. But then they don't always have it on screen. They should always
I'll
have
give
it
you
there.
that.
Thank you.
I feel like the music in Jeopardy is so fucking boring, and they could
music.
maybe give some color on that show. I think it's kind of boring. The show, I do. It's boring.
It's trivia.
Spice it the fuck up.
Your
Have some
brother.
s- Go ahead.
That's your brother's favorite show.
Yeah, I know.
It's a great show. Very little has changed since its inception.
Yeah, I know. It's why it's boring.
It
It should just be black and white.
I miss
Ugh.
Alex Trebek.
Who
Okay.
doesn't
This might be the most controversial
really.
Okay, I
list.
gotta leave after this.
This might be the one that you're going to be like, this is crazy.
Is this too high or too low on the list?
I think it might be too low.
Ooh.
Too low, so it should
Everybody's
be higher.
going to say it's too low. Everybody's going to say
So this should be higher on the list. Okay.
ran from 1994 to 2004.
Okay.
NBC.
Friends.
Yeah.
Friends.
Wow.
Only 49?
That's
Yeah.
there are 48
Okay, I'm
shows
now
better
really
than
fucking
Friends.
leaving. Okay.
This is rough.
Hold on. I gotta
Friends was
take this
great.
out. Who wrote this list? Hitler?
Now, I will say this. I'll say this.
He's like, I must put the
I-
Jews all the way at the end of the show.
What?
He's like, I must put, because I said Hitler wrote it. He's like, I must put all the Jews at the end because honestly,
Oh god.
Well, at least he put them on the list,
I
which is not foreign to Hitler, actually. Now that I think about it.
49.
point is
49.
that-
That's rough.
I
this is go ahead.
tapped out of Friends at a certain point. I couldn't do it anymore. Here's where it jumped the shark for me. When Joey started banging
I agree.
Rachel, I'm like, I gotta go. I can't
First
do
of all,
it.
they only had sex once. Go ahead.
That's still too.
Yeah, but weren't they
that's-
like living together or dating or whatever the hell?
Wait, they only had sex once, but then we didn't know if it was Ross's kid or Joey's kid. It was too
No,
much.
we definitely knew that it was a Ross's kid.
Yeah, I agree with that whole I feel like and then they put Chandler and Monica together. That was never a thing. They just they
What?
forced that relationship.
No, they set it up from the beginning.
Oh no, I thought
They
I didn't
did
mind that.
not.
Yeah, that was lovely.
How did
Yeah.
they what?
Go back and watch
did-
it, Frank.
I watched we would
You
just
don't
started
like that
watching
show?
it again. I like that show. No, I did like that show.
Friends is definitely better than Seinfeld. I know you're gonna.
That's
fucking punch me.
incorrect. That is
Look at him.
incorrect.
He's getting mad right now. He's gonna go
I'm not
punch his
mad.
wife after.
I can't go
But-
there with you, but I think it deserves far more respect than 49. And I
I
did
agree.
watch it for many years and absolutely loved it. I mean, very, very funny.
Classic. It's an iconic show. Absolutely.
Now, let me ask you this. Why did she sleep with Joey? What happened that she slept with him?
It was after she had the baby with Ross.
Oh, was it?
Yes.
Okay.
He started to like develop feelings, and then they were living together only because she didn't have any place to go, and
We
Chandler
were
was
on
living
a
with Monica. Right. So
That's actually a pretty good swimmer. That's not bad.
Thank you.
This is, I mean, to me, it became like, all right, it was the most ridiculous part of Saved by the Bell. The fact that every week somebody had a different crush on somebody else is just like, all right, this is
It's kind of true.
fucking out of control now.
Hey, Screech was always consistent. He was
That's
always
true.
with Lisa, always going after Lisa Turtle, except when what's her name came onto the show.
to this guy.
Yeah, what the hell is her name? Tori Spelling. When she was on the show, they dated for a while, but
Oh, that's
She
true.
was
So
the
there you
nerd.
go. He
She was
wasn't
the nerd.
consistent. I forgot.
but he
about that.
was until he gave they wrote he couldn't get Lisa, so he was like, you know what, I'm giving up, and then she came in, and that was it. That was nice.
All right, let's move through some of these quickly because I don't want to lose JSAPs till we get to number
I'm
one.
leaving.
I think we could go on a run here.
Let's do a run.
48, The Shield.
Never saw it.
Never saw it either, but
Heard it's
Michael
good.
Chiklis is good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that would be good.
Okay, I'm afraid to admit how much I love this show. Number 47, My So-Called Life.
Love the show.
That's one of my wife's number one show. I don't know if it's number one, but she loves that show.
Okay, see, Frank would be pissing all over me right now if it wasn't for the fact that his wife liked that show. Now he can't do it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, totally.
I have no problem with that show.
Here's
Jared
the thing.
Leto, Claire Danes, I think, was in it.
That's true. It gave us two huge stars today. ABC from 95 to 96. Never saw an episode there. I watched every one of them on MTV. Like I think most
Yeah,
people.
it was on MTV. I watched it.
Yeah.
There you go.
Also gave us Buffalo Tom, one of the great fucking bands of all time. Buffalo Tom is fantastic.
Don't know what that is.
Yeah, they're amazing.
46. I would have put this much higher. The West Wing.
Yeah, that goes higher.
Even though I never saw it. Yep.
A brilliant fucking show. It's one of what's his name's best. Who wrote it, Frank? What's his name?
Oh, Aaron Sorkin.
Aaron Sorkin. It's one of Sorkin's fucking best.
Absolutely.
45. Columbo.
Yeah. Let me just ask you one more question. That's my
44. The Late Night.
You got to cross
late,
the eye, though.
Late Night with David Letterman.
David Letterman. Okay.
Okay.
But again, you switch him and Carson.
50
Carson should be
slots
on the
better
list.
than Carson. Again, I think you can make an argument that he surpassed Carson, but 50 slots
Yeah,
better
no.
than Carson? I don't know.
I don't
about
think he
that.
surpassed Carson.
And that means that they're going to put Leno higher than Letterman, which is just fucking batshit crazy.
Letterman was great. Letterman was funny, but Carson had it all, man. He did everything.
Number 43, Insecure on HBO.
Never saw it.
Never
Yeah.
heard of it.
Ended last year. Number 42, Battlestar Galactica.
Goodbye.
Burr? You know what, though? That has a big cult following. The original.
Speaking of cold following, number 41, BoJack Horseman.
No.
BoJack Horseman. All right, we lost J Saps. But
Yeah.
BoJack Horseman,
Massive
better-
following.
better than Friends?
Never
What
in
the
a million
fuck are we
years.
talking about here?
Okay, this is how backwards this list is. At number 40 is another NBC show called The Good Place. You've got to be shitting
The
me.
Good Place. My wife and I were watching the first season. Phenomenal. And then it kind of, again, it's another one of these shows that just spins its wheels for a little bit. Really good show. Ted Danson. I forget her name. What's her name? Kristen Bell.
Mm-hmm.
Really good show. But you have to stick with it. And we got to like almost through this, halfway through the second season. And we're like, it's kind of losing steam for us a little bit. But
I mean,
still, good show.
crazy to put that above Friends, like you
No,
said. And I
can't
love
put it
Ted
above.
Danson, but by the way, Cheers has got to be up high on this list now.
Oh, I'm sure. Cheers, I would imagine top on my list, top 10. It's got to be in the top 10.
Okay, again, I'm putting this in the top 10. It comes in at number 39 on this Fakakta list. 2 in a row, by the way, for Ted Danson. Curb Your Enthusiasm, number 39.
Wow, 39.
Very disrespectful. Very disrespectful.
That's rough. 38 shows have got to be phenomenal then.
I'm curious to see what our and those of us joining live and everybody listening, actually, what you're going to think about that comment, because that seems crazy. But now we're getting into the thick of it. So these are all going to be all-star shows.
They've
I
got to be.
wonder if these next couple are going to hold up against Curb Your Enthusiasm. Number 38, Hill Street Blues. We answered that question very quickly with a no.
That's a classic show. It's
It
not
is very-
funny,
Not better than Curb Your Enthusiasm.
but no, probably not better than Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Big cult following here. Number 37, Arrested Development.
Great show. That is an amazing show. When they came back and did the new seasons, not as great, but the original first 3 seasons were brilliant. Fucking brilliant.
By the way, one of the first shows, this one and Family Guy, to get axed and then come back, which was a lot harder to do in the early aughts and in the 90s.
Now it's like
Now it's
every
common.
show keeps coming
Yeah.
back. But that, you're right. That one and Futurama, another one, axed, came back, axed again, then came back, then axed again, and now it's coming back.
And by the way, much respect, because Arrested Development basically gave us Jason Bateman back. Am I wrong?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Jason Bateman's, that was his big comeback was definitely what's it called? Arrested Development.
36, I Love Lucy.
Too low on the list. No.
35, Lost.
All right, I'll give you that it was a great show, but probably one of the worst finales.
Okay, don't spoil, because I still have it on my list of I'm gonna watch that one day.
Go ahead.
And I think
It's
it was
worth
even
watching. I'll give you that. It's a great journey.
By the way, just to show you what kind of a barrier breaker I am, what kind of a fucking cultural phenomena I am. I was saying that before we even had fucking streaming services. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna catch up to those DVD box sets one day and watch this whole fucking show. That's
Look at you.
But yeah, again, cultural, like, I mean, when an episode of Lost was on, everybody was watching it, everybody was talking about it the next day.
Wednesday nights, you got to watch Lost. Totally.
And I avoided all that conversation for years.
You did.
This is heartbreaking for me. This is a top 5 show for me. I would argue this is in the top 3.
Wow.
And it comes in at number 34. And that's The Office.
Wow, that's low. That's
way
low.
too low.
That's low. That's at least, I would put it at like 12 for me.
I was gonna say anybody who puts it outside the top 10 is crazy. I mean, let's be
All right.
honest. That's batshit.
Maybe number 10. 10 to 12. I would put that.
Fucking 34. You've got
That's
to
too
be
low.
shitting me.
Way too low. Way too
This
low.
list stinks. I mean, I'm at the point where I'm thinking about threatening physical harm. I'm not saying I'm going to do it, but I'm
Right.
thinking about threatening physical harm on the Rolling Stone people.
Don't do that. Anybody listening or watching, don't do that.
33, Monty Python's Flying Circus.
I never got into Monty Python, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I never saw a moment of it, really. Maybe I saw the coconut thing, but other than that, I don't know anything about Monty Python.
32, Better Call Saul.
I wouldn't put it this high on the list. It's a great show. I like it. But I'd put it a little lower. I'd put it in the 50s, maybe.
31, Game of Thrones.
I have zero interest in Game of Thrones.
That's
I
surprising.
watched, isn't it? I thought I would like it. I watched the first 5 episodes, and I was like, I can't do this. This is not holding my interest. Nothing's
Wow.
really happening. Something big happens in the first episode, and then nothing. I'm like, what am I watching here? It just got so boring. I was like, all right, I'm sure it gets better, but I can't do it. And I jump ship.
Wow, look at this. Rhoda's on your side. Second worst show ever. I'm very
Thank you.
surprised.
Robin, I don't know if Robin was referring to Game of Thrones with me, but yeah. Okay, Game of Thrones is way better than that.
I think he
Okay,
was
so I
talking
don't know.
about Better Call Saul.
Yeah.
I'm surprised because I feel like if you like Star Wars, you'll like Game of Thrones.
Maybe that's a reach, but if you like, people say if you like Lord of the Rings, and I like Lord of the Rings, you would like Game of Thrones. It's similar genre, that sci-fi fantasy, medieval kind of feel to it. But this, it was just a lot of talking and nothing happening. And I was like, all right, where's so much of it was like talking about stuff that you don't know what it is yet, so you have no investment in it. They're talking, oh, this kingdom and that kingdom, these people and those people. I'm like, we haven't met any of these people yet. I don't know what you're talking about. I felt like I was eavesdropping on a conversation that I had no idea of any of the people they were referring to. I felt way out of it for me.
My favorite part of Game of Thrones, and keep in mind, I've never watched an episode. My mother refers to it when she yells at my father as that sex show. She's like, he's just gonna go and watch that sex show. That's what she does. Yeah.
That's kind of funny.
It's like, what's that show where they're having all the sex together? It's Game of Thrones.
That's probably right. I got to like one scene of that, and that was it.
Number 30, Parks and Rec.
Good show. Probably.
Blatant Office ripoff.
Yeah, it's a little high on the list, I'd say.
Like, oh, The Office is working. Let's just duplicate that and give it to fuck. And I like Amy Poehler.
I agree. A
I
lot
love
of people
Aubrey
in that.
Plaza.
Aubrey Plaza is great. Love her.
And who's the guy who's not Rob Lowe, not Nick Offerman, the other guy?
Chris Pratt.
Yes, I'm like that. He's great in that.
Yeah, he got a little, he's big now. I mean,
he got a bump from that.
Guardians of the Galaxy is huge, and he's got all these movies, Jurassic World, all that stuff.
Okay, this is like a limited series, but I guess it's TV technically still. Yes, 29 Roots.
I don't know 29 Roots. What is that?
No, it's number 29. The Roots.
Oh, what the series Roots, the classic?
Yeah.
Oh, sure. That's classic. That's big.
Number 28, Friday Night Lights.
Friday Night
better
Lights.
than The Office? Are we fucking
Definitely
what are we
not
doing? Better than Letterman? What are we doing?
Never big into sport. I don't know. Maybe I never really watched it, so I couldn't tell you. But I doubt it would be better than The Office or West Wing.
It had a 2-year run on NBC and then literally went to like Dish Network or something like that. Like for like you got to be fucking kidding me.
Yeah, I'm out with that.
Number 27, Deadwood.
Never watched it.
Yeah, me either.
Yeah, never saw it. I couldn't tell you.
26. Okay, this is fair enough. Sesame Street.
Sesame Street, sure. Yeah, I got to put that on the list. That's everybody grew up with that. You know, how could you not?
Yeah.
You got the Muppets going all over the place. It's still going, right? Sesame Street it's still on.
Still going.
Started in the 70s, I think.
This I'm surprised. Very surprised. Number 25.
Okay.
This was probably number 1 for a really long time.
Oh boy.
And now it's 25.
You're kidding me. What would be number 1 and then knocked down to 25?
Let me know when you want the years in the network. And which one you want first.
Give me the years.
1972 to 1983.
72 to 83. 72 to 83.
72 should be very telling.
Happy Days?
Mm-mm. Good guess.
72 should be telling. I don't know.
It started basically after the event that it was based on.
What do you got? You could tell me.
Well, the network, or you just need it?
72 to 83. So it wasn't MASH, was it? MASH? Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
25.
Yeah.
Right? A lot of people put that at number 1 for a very long time.
On the last episode, I was saying MASH was in the top 3.
Mm-hmm.
Holy cow. 25.
25. Now I'm dying to know what 24 is.
Yeah.
It would be great if it was 24. That would be just fucking good old-fashioned radio love.
That's laziness right there.
24, Freaks and Geeks.
Never watched it.
I don't know about Better Than MASH. That seems a little disrespectful.
Probably not.
Although I will say Freaks and Geeks is basically legendary because it's Judd Apatow. It's Paul Feig.
You lost me.
Both who have gone on to, Paul Feig has gone on to do a ton of shit.
Yeah.
You're talking about James Franco, Seth Rogen, Jason Segel.
It's that whole Judd Apatow guy. It's the same movie every time. I can't.
It's the whole crew. Yeah.
I liked 40-Year-Old Virgin. And then every movie after that, I'm like, again.
Number 23, HBO 1 Year Watchmen. I mean, fucking crazy.
What?
Fucking crazy talk.
What is happening here?
Fucking crazy talk. Now I made the joke about 24. I'm starting to get nervous. 24 ain't even on this list.
I don't think it's on the list. How is Watchmen better than MASH?
It's only been on for 1 year.
And better than West Wing.
And better than what? Yeah, batshit crazy. And that's 2019. I'm guessing it's not coming back. I don't even know.
Holy cow! Better than Frasier.
That's the Frasier thing. Number 22, Star Trek.
Which one?
I don't know. NBC 1966 to 1969. I'm guessing the original.
Okay,
one.
that's gonna be what's his name?
William Shatner.
Spock. Yeah.
And Spock. Leonard Nimoy. Yeah. Can I tell you something? Hate Star Trek. Hate it.
You hate it.
Can't watch it.
Have you tried it?
Like it's a black and white show. I'll tell you why. My cousin loved it. It was always on like Channel 9. It was always reruns in the middle of the day. I couldn't get fucking through it. I cheesiness. You know, and maybe if it started today the way that special effects are, I could have gotten into it. But back then,
you know what you'd like? You'd like the newer movies with Chris Pine as Captain Kirk.
Yeah,
great.
Maybe I might.
They're so good. Well, I recommend them highly. The first one was really good. The second one I thought was better than the first one. Into Darkness, I think it's called. Third one was okay. But I liked, Benedict Cumberbatch was in it. The second one, really, really good.
Listen to this comment from Neiman. West Wing has too much old-timey language like freedom and women, words that are no longer permitted.
That's social commentary there by Neiman.
All right, this is hurtful. Paige, Anthony watched General Hospital instead of Star Trek after school. I did go on for one summer. My cousin and my aunt got me hooked on, I don't know if it was General Hospital, but it was one of those fucking soap operas.
All My Children?
I don't remember which one it was now.
I used to watch All My Children, and there was one before it with my grandmother. Whenever I was by my grandmother's house during the week, if I was like off from school or if I was sick or something, we watched The Price is Right, followed by the news at 12. 12:30 came on, was a half hour. I forget the name of the show. It was a soap opera. and then All My Children.
Yeah,
That
I mean,
that was me and my grandmother and my brother. We used to watch those with her.
yeah, I think so. I'm guessing like everybody kind of goes through that fucking little phase of like we're just
Yeah.
gonna watch a soap opera for a little while.
It's on during the day. There's nothing. It's either that or the news. Well, back then we didn't have streaming shit. It was just whatever was on TV.
All right, Luke and Laura sounds familiar to me. What show was that? What soap opera was that one? That might have been the one I watched.
Days of Our Lives.
Might have been Days of Our Lives.
As
Okay.
the World Turns.
Yeah, it might have been Days of Our. Here's my favorite part about the fucking a fucking soap opera, and maybe Frank, you and I can recreate this. When they say something right before the commercial break, and then that little music comes, and they just stare. They're just like,
Or when it's like this. Like the two people are facing the camera.
mhm.
Like one is in the background and one is over here. They're
Yeah.
not looking at each other, but they're talking to each other. But they're both facing the camera.
Yeah, and then they just like zero in on the one person, and they're just like holding that moment.
I don't know.
It's the fucking best part.
That was the beauty of Friends. Whenever like Joey was up for he was always on those soap operas. They used to make fun of that shit a lot.
All right. I can't believe this. We've got to roll quick here because my computer's about to die.
Oh, come on.
My iPad that I'm reading this all off of. All right, number 21. Okay, here's the thing now. I feel like we can't be too hypercritical here because all of these should be
Hypercritical or
legendary
hypocritical?
hypercritical.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Or yeah, hypercritical. I had it right.
Okay, that's fine.
Number 21, All in the Family.
Classic.
Classic. Can't argue with it.
That's a good spot for it, I think.
Who's your guy there? Fucking what's his name with the mustache? You had all the tapes.
I had all the tapes.
Yeah. The old show. Oh, fucking what's his name? Groucho Marx.
Okay. Oh, You Bet Your Life.
Yeah. What was the other show that they had though? They weren't who's the Three Stooges?
I wasn't really a huge Stooge fan.
Oh, you weren't?
Not really, no.
I thought you were. I remember you had like all those tapes or something when
I had the Marx Brothers tapes.
the Marx Brothers. Okay,
those are movies.
That's right. Those are movies. I was like, oh, I can't believe that they're not the Three Stooges. Though I wonder if they're going to be on here.
Did they? I didn't know if they did TV. I thought they were all movies too.
Is that movies too?
I think so.
Okay. What did I just give you? We had Star
21.
Trek. We had All in the Family.
All in the Family. What's after All in the Family?
You know what? We should do our. Oh, you know what? Let's do it before we get into the top 3. We got to do
we're
our
up to 20 now. Oh,
our
Jumpstart
read. Yeah.
Boom, baby.
Okay. Are you ready?
Jumpstart. Go for it.
I was trying to stall because 20 wasn't popping up. Okay, 20. Let's do it right before number 3.
Oh, okay.
20, 30 Rock.
Great show. That's a
Good show.
That's a good spot, I think, too. I could live with that.
Little high, maybe a little high. Not better than the Office.
Maybe slightly high. Yeah. I'll give you that.
Okay, let's see here. Number 19. This is disgusting. I've never heard of this. I May Destroy You.
What?
It was
What the hell
on
is that?
BBC and HBO in 2020.
This sounds like the person who wrote this list put their friend's show on it because they had to give it some clout. And they're like, you know what? I'll sneak a show on the list so people will watch it.
All right, Paul made a good point with the super chat. And I thank you that you did it because I would have walked right over this if I didn't see it highlighted. The 700 Club, one of the greatest shows of all time.
I don't know that. What is that?
It's like it comes on at like 3:00 in the morning. Like when the 700 Club comes on, you should go to bed because you've done something wrong that evening.
What the hell is that?
It's like a Christian network news show that I'm sure is on at a regular time somewhere, but basically pops up on like NBC or something like after Carson Daly's late night show goes off, this fucking show comes on.
It's an hour and a half of static, and then the show comes on. Is it on like,
It's like a
local
famous
access, public access?
It's weird to describe, but I'll tell you this: like if you peruse the channels at like 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, it's on like 17. It's like on every they buy just like every network, like cable, ABC, like
I never
whatever it
heard of
is.
this.
Yeah, it's a big. The 700 Club is a big thing. I ran into it. Remember 700 Sundays, the Billy Crystal
Yeah.
book show. I was searching for that one day, and that fucking thing kept coming up, and I was like, "What is this?" And then I fucking started like watching them. It's like a Christian right news. It's a weird fucking thing.
And that's not on the list though. Okay.
No, it's not on the list, but it really fucking should be. It really should be because it's on so much. Like the amount of
Alright.
TV that covers.
You know what should be on the list? Those guys that sell the knives on the Home Shopping Network?
Infomercials.
That should be
Yeah.
infomercial. They should be on the list.
I May Destroy You. The fact they put this here at 19 is fucking disgusting. A genre-bending tour de force that was written, co-directed by, and starred Michaela Cole
Who?
as a rising young author whose life and career are rent asunder as she realizes she was drugged and raped. I May Destroy You is at times harrowing and others unnervingly funny. Unnervingly funny. Should have had that one sooner.
You went to college, right?
Unnervingly funny. St. John's. Unnervingly funny and odd, and as much about the writing process and stories we invent about ourselves to help work through problems as it is about the trauma. I mean,
I never heard of this show at all.
Disgusting, awful. This is what happens when you let woke people make lists. Okay,
Is like, oh,
let's put the fucking rapey show on high on the list.
That came out less than 2 years ago,
and it was only on for a limited time. I mean, give me a fucking break. It was crazy. Number 18. I think this is a little low. Saturday Night Live.
Wow.
Again, hard show to do, and to do it as well as they have for fucking over 40 years.
And all the legendary actors that came out of it.
I mean, every huge comedic movie star that you have came through Saturday Night Live.
I mean, just countless. Dozens. Not countless, but a lot.
And more than dozens. Yeah. Somewhere in between dozens and countless.
Yeah, somewhere in there. We can't really nail down the number, but it's somewhere in there.
SNL should be way higher than 18. I'm sorry. I don't even know what the fuck
I can live with
show...
it being I can live with it being somewhere in the teen.
In the teens. But when you have number 17, The Leftovers from HBO.
What the fuck is going on here?
That's not even a top 20 HBO show.
Is this list reversed? Did we do number 1 first?
This fucking list sucks balls. All right, let's keep going. 16, Twin Peaks.
I think in its time it was big. I never watched it, but my wife says it was good. Very, very trippy, very mind screwy.
This feels like, and this is no insult to your wife because she's not this, but it feels very hipstery because David Lynch is very, like, the hipsters fucking love David Lynch.
It's a mind trip. It's a weird show.
Yeah, that's way too high. Okay, number 15.
Now we're getting down to it.
This I consider one of the greatest shows of all time. I fucking love this show.
Larry Sanders
show. You don't understand. Like, if we, this is the dream. I love doing this. I love doing this with you. You know that. But if we ever got to the point and somebody was like, pitch me a TV show, like, what would you do? I would say Larry Sanders meets podcasting. Like, that's what I would fucking do. I would do scripted behind the scenes stuff and then do all live interviews with people. And that's the fucking show that's the show that I would do. I would like to see that.
That's a good idea. I think people would tune into that.
Just, it's not late night. It's a podcast. Do that. And I think that would be fucking beyond, like, I think that would be great.
It's basically a podcast, but everything leading up to the podcast and all the behind the scenes shit. You
Yeah,
can't
and I
have
would
yeah.
I would literally do both because it would be one show, but I would also put out the podcast episodes as a podcast. But I would work that into the because all the behind the scenes would be scripted and have storyline.
See, you know what you do? You have bits and pieces of the podcast in the show, and then you put the full podcast on
Exactly.
as a
That's
podcast.
you got
Yeah.
it. That's what I would you what I was struggling to say for the last 20 minutes, you summed up in 4.5 seconds.
There you go.
Because I think people would watch.
Co-creator.
That's what I think. Be like, did Frank write anything? He trimmed. He trimmed what Anthony was babbling about.
I made it easier for everybody to handle.
Yeah, so he gets co-writing credit. Because I think he would love to do both. Because when you watch the Larry Sanders show, the interviews are so funny, but they're only for like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Imagine what it was like to have a full fucking interview to watch behind.
I agree.
Anyway.
I think that'd be a good show.
Number 14, The Americans. Not better than Larry Sanders.
No,
Crazy
good show, but no, definitely. I would put Americans in the 90s somewhere, maybe even the 80s, but
Okay.
nowhere near the top.
Again, I love this show too. Number 13, it's just not better than Larry Sanders, and that's Veep.
Another great show, but shouldn't be. What number is this? 13?
13. That's a little high.
That's a little high for Veep. Yeah,
It's a
20s maybe.
funny fucking show. I mean, it is really funny.
Yeah, it is. Maybe I could see that being in the 20s or 30s. I can't see it in the teens.
I didn't realize that show went for 7 years. And I'll tell you what else is amazing. They found a way to stretch out really a dumb and limited concept into 7 years. Like they made that work for 7 years.
Well, they could have made it work for 8.
They could have. But like I forget what season it is, 3 or whatever, when they kind of I don't want to ruin it.
Yeah, no, I get it.
All right, number 12, The Twilight Zone.
Wow. Not even in the top 10 anymore.
Black and White, Jay Zebbs didn't make it. Okay, I love this show too, but I don't know, maybe a little high. Number 11, Succession.
I never watched it. I
think it's the greatest show on television right now.
Really?
Yeah, it's fucking. You've never seen Succession?
I never saw a second of Succession.
I think you'd like it. I think your wife would fucking love it.
Really?
Yeah, I think your wife would love it.
Is that Brian Cox and
yes,
some other people?
Yeah, it's not intellectual. It's like conniving and cunning and intellectual. Psychologically trying to. Yeah, I think your wife would love it.
Okay.
Number 10, top 10. Here we go. Top 10. We're doing the greatest television shows of all time, according to Rolling Stone magazine.
Right.
Mary Tyler Moore Show.
Okay.
Respect.
Classic, legend.
Yep.
Big step forward for women. Love it.
I said this would be on here. I don't know about number 9, but Atlanta.
That's high.
It feels a little woke. That feels a little woke
high
to me.
Atlanta, great, big show, but I don't know, a little high maybe.
Number 8, Cheers.
Love Cheers, baby. That's a great show. It's still watchable today. It's so you get a nice fuzzy feeling when you watch Cheers. It's such a good show. I love everything
Number
about
7, Mad Men.
I couldn't stand Mad Men.
You're crazy.
I might be, but I just couldn't watch it. Every time I watched it, I didn't know what the frig was going on. I'm like, I can't.
Oh,
Is it one of those shows you have to watch it from the first episode?
Yes.
Or you're lost?
Yes.
Okay, then
You never watched it from the first episode?
No, I started watching an episode and I was like, I don't know what the fuck's going on. It was just boring to me. It seemed boring to me. I know, all right. I'll give you that. I didn't treat it fairly. I'll give you that.
Give it. I will say this. Outside of Tony Soprano, this is one of the greatest anti-heroes we have in a TV show. Is Don Draper.
Okay.
Where it's like you love him and you're rooting for him, but you're
he's a big dick.
Man, he's kind of a piece of shit. Like, why does he have to be so shitty?
Right.
And I'll say this too, perhaps even a little better than Tony Soprano, because Tony Soprano is a cheating murderer, and Don Draper's not, and you're still like, Oh, he's so like he's shittier than Tony Soprano. And Tony Soprano murders people for a living.
Yeah, that's what. There's no way. Don't even tell me Seinfeld's next.
Number 6. Seinfeld.
What the hell? All right, this list. I don't know who made this list, but that is too low for Seinfeld. Sorry.
Okay, now I can think of, and there's no surprise what I think is the number one show.
You're gonna say Sopranos.
I could think of that's better than Seinfeld. I can't. I'm struggling to think of 4 other shows that are better than Seinfeld.
Would be.
Are we going to see The Price is Right on this list? I mean,
what the hell could they?
What
They've
could
gone
be
through.
better?
I'm trying to think of what's left. You got The Sopranos. What haven't we mentioned?
Breaking Bad.
Better than Seinfeld? That's a huge stretch.
Better Call Saul is on here, so Breaking Bad is probably going to be.
It's got to be on there, and I can't say that is insane. How did it not crack the top 5?
Tell you, Seinfeld's a top 3 show.
Absolutely.
I mean,
for me, number 1, Simpsons is going to be on there.
Oh, I forgot about The Simpsons. Where Simpsons will be in there. Forgot about that.
No, Paige, Curb Your Enthusiasm was number like 39 or something. 39.
Yeah. All right, Frankie C. Jumpstart Coffee Company. This is what I like to drink when I watch television.
Beautiful stuff right here.
Listen, no debating, no list. It's not, is it Folgers? Is it fucking Starbucks?
This isn't top 10. This is number 1.
Number 1 through 100 is this fucking coffee right here.
Boom.
Okay. Greatest coffee ever. This is a 2-hour episode, Frank, so you needed some of this to get through this boring fucking shit. And we thank Jumpstart for all the support. I got the medium dark roast blend right here that I'm showing off. Frank's showing off his one of his faves, dark roast blend. Best coffee we've ever had. Make sure you grab some because 50% of the profits that they make goes to the Navy SEAL Foundation. So that's hugely important. You support us, you support Jumpstart, you support your freedoms by supporting the Navy SEAL Foundation. Order with the link in the description below. Grab a bag or 2 or subscribe and save like Frank loves to do.
That's a beautiful thing. You set it up, they just keep delivering it. You don't have to go shopping for coffee. You don't have to go, I'm out of coffee. No, they deliver it right to your door. Beautiful thing.
Frank's a big subscribe and save guy. Big.
Huge, Jerry. Huge.
Huge. Loves to subscribe and save.
Who doesn't?
Seinfeld at 6. What's the biggest disappointment on this list? Is that it?
For me,
Johnny bigger than Johnny Carson being like 93?
Frasier.
Wow,
too.
Frasier.
Okay. Frasier was in the 80s or something. That's ridiculous. He should at least in the top 30. Frasier should have been.
Not only did Seinfeld redefine sitcoms, he kind of ruined them because they've never been the same since. Nobody's ever been able to do that. Nobody's had the chance to because the television landscape changed so much. I mean, this is a wild insult.
Cheers was number what? Number 8 or so?
9?
9.
8.
Okay.
You're right. 8.
Yeah, Paige, Cheers was number 8. But man, Seinfeld is number 6.
Do you think they have the balls to put one more obscure, crazy fucking show in the top 5
that you never heard of?
Yeah, like that other one that was in front of Larry Sanders
or some shit. Yeah, no, I can't imagine. If they do, then this list is total bullshit. I mean, it's already pissing us off. But let's see what's number 5.
They've done it. Number 5.
No, get the fuck out of here.
Have you ever heard of Fleabag?
What?
On BBC and Amazon, 2016 to 2019.
Fleabag. It sounds familiar. Who's in it?
This is their description. Sure, it's rewarding when a TV show can provide dozens of hours of mirth across many seasons. Sometimes, though, the most satisfying experiences come from a series that have a few things to say them perfectly, then shake their heads and walk away before you can follow them into less interesting story arcs. Phoebe Waller-Bridge. Andrew Scott is in this one as well. I don't even know.
What the hell, man? As number 5?
Yeah, that's disgusting. Just as I'm like, I wonder if they would sneak another. They fucking put it right in front of Seinfeld.
That is insane.
Just fucking twist a knife into everybody.
Ugh.
Total bullshit.
All right, number 4.
The Wire.
Everybody raves about The Wire. I've never seen it yet. It's on my list. I want to watch that show.
It's on my list too. And I would even argue, knowing what I know, I would say okay to top 10 with how much accolades it's gotten. Not better than Seinfeld. I have a hard time believing that one.
Same.
Number 3, Breaking Bad.
Great show, but not top 5.
All right. Well, we know what's left. We just said it.
So there's 2 left, right?
Good. Which one's 1 and which one's 2?
I'm gonna say if this. I want The Simpsons to be 1, but I think it's gonna be 2.
Simpsons are number 2.
And Sopranos is number 1.
The Sopranos is the greatest show of all time. Here's what they did. I agree with that. So it's like you have here's total bullshit all the way through, and then they got the greatest show of all time right.
I don't think so. I think it's a great show. I think because it's a lot of it has to do with your style. I'm not a huge mafia movie. That genre doesn't really do it for me that much. I appreciate the show. I loved Sopranos. Is a great show, but there were episodes where I'm like, come on with this show.
Okay, let me ask you this. If I take out the episode, if we strike it from the record, the one where Carmela goes to Paris, is it not the greatest show of all time? Because I feel like that brings it down 40 notches.
That takes it right down for me. That knocks it out of the number 1 spot for me.
Yeah. Okay, I'll tell you what else drives me fucking crazy, Frank. Everybody.
But The Simpsons has that too. Simpsons does not have all great episodes.
That's true. But everybody goes, oh, the greatest episode of all time is when they're lost in the woods. No, it's not. It's a great episode, but it's been so... Everybody's been talking. Okay, it was so revolutionary, and people who understand good TV have been talking about how brilliant that episode was. But now all the fucking ham and eggers are talking about how brilliant it was, and it drives me nuts because it's like
I don't think it was brilliant, but I thought it was real. It was entertaining. It was great.
It was so well done because never before have we been taken on such a fucking wild left turn that leads to nowhere. And we just enjoyed the shit out of it the entire time.
Yeah, because you know what you had? You had Paulie and Chrissy as two, just bouncing off each other. They were a great tag team. Yeah, that's what made it. If you put anybody else in that situation with either one of them, it's not going to be as good. But they were providing. It was a big comedic break for that show. That it took a turn out of the seriousness of the show. Mm-hmm. And made a comedy episode, basically.
When Tony calls Paulie and he's got the bad cell phone connection, and he says the guy that they're dealing with was with the Russian Interior Ministry, and Paulie reiterates to Christopher he was an interior decorator, and Chris looks at him and goes, "His apartment looked like shit." I mean, that's one of the funniest lines in television.
That is great. That was great. No, I'll give you. I mean, great episodes, great acting, etc. But I say great acting. The main people were great, but then you have these outskirt people that are like just there because they fit the mold, and you're like, all right, I could deal with this because they're only there for a few lines. You got the club guys, and you got the distant cousins or whatever the hell they are. And it's like, all right, they're fine, but the acting wasn't brilliant, Oh,
I thought there was great. Well, I'll tell you this.
Oh no, the acting was brilliant with Tony Soprano, with Carmela, with that, great.
Yeah.
But the son, I thought wasn't great.
It got so crazy out of control that like at one point everybody knew somebody who was on The Sopranos, and like I remember I'm watching an episode and I go, "That's my fucking cousin, The Sopranos."
Yeah,
like literally, they were casting everybody in New York for a little
exactly.
while.
That's all it was, and it was But the
And
main
by the way,
guys were
Maria,
great.
I gotta just say you nailed it. You did a great job. But go ahead. Sorry.
What? Yeah, your cousin. But it was you know, the show itself was great, but I wouldn't put it as number one. I'd put it in the top 5, sure, but you know my number one is Seinfeld. But
Mhm.
Seinfeld, you know what? I'm surprised Family Guy wasn't anywhere near this list,
Wow, you're right. Family Guy not on the list at all.
and still going. It's like in its 21st season or something. And it was canceled once, and they brought it back.
And then came back. And that, you know what that was? Fucking DVD sales and people just old fashioned fucking writing in and being like, what the
Yeah.
hell? Bring that back. I'll tell you what, funniest comeback ever was that goddamn show because when they came back, they made fun of the fact that in order for them to come back, all these shows would have to be canceled.
That was
And
great.
they rattled off shows for like 14 minutes.
They just this one, that one, and they just kept. He just stood there naming. If all of these shows get canceled, then they might bring us back. That was hilarious. And to this day, my wife, it's one of the ones we watch all the time. We watch Family Guy. It's hysterical.
Yeah. Surprised Family Guy's not on there. I'm surprised House of Cards isn't on there. That was a great show.
Never got into that. Never watched that one.
And one of the pioneer shows of the streaming movement where you were like, you got to get Netflix for the TV show, not the movies. And people were like, what the fuck are you talking about?
That's true. Yeah, you're right.
You know, Jeopardy on the list, no Wheel of Fortune on the list.
The only game show I think was Jeopardy, the one and only.
And Price is Right. No, I would have thought Price is Right, out of respect, would have been in the 90s somewhere.
Agreed.
Leno's Tonight Show, not on the list at all.
Conan O'Brien, not on the list.
Conan not being on the list is a big heartbreak. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a huge television career.
Honestly, yeah, a few disappointments, a few movies. I feel like nobody's ever heard of, or TV shows nobody's ever heard of.
Yeah. All right. I'll tell you what Paige just did here. You just started a big trouble.
Oh boy.
This is a big trouble. She just wrote AOA needs a list to topple Rolling Stones. Here's what I just thought of, and I'm not sure anybody has thought of this. They should have if they haven't. This is too much work, so don't get fucking hung up on it because it's probably never going to happen. But I think, Frank, you and I should compile a list of the top Rolling Stone lists of all time.
The top Rolling Stone lists of all time.
We make a list of the Rolling Stone list, or we do the shittiest Rolling Stone lists. That might be easier to do. And then we just put it in we line
I don't know.
up.
That means we have to go through.
Yeah. Movies, TV shows. They make a lot of lists
all the
over
lists.
there
Yeah.
at fucking Rolling Stone. But we put together the top shittiest lists of Rolling Stone lists.
Yeah, they're all kind of shitty.
That might be something.
I'd say we come up with our. I think we come up with our own top 100 TV show list, or our own top 100 movies list.
I like it, but that's too easy. House was very good.
House. Yes.
King of Queens.
Yeah, a lot of the
Everyone
sitcoms.
Loves Raymond. Family Ties. Parenthood. The Middle. Christina. Great list. Robin's funny. The Price is Wrong, Bob. What was I gonna say? Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, not on the list.
Not on the Full House, not on the list.
Full House, Perfect Strangers, Family Matters, the whole TGIF.
Right.
They can go fuck themselves, I guess.
Just gotta tell you, I have to run.
You gotta go. Okay.
Yeah.
That's it. So the list sucked. I don't know how the show was, but that's basically it.
Gotta thank everybody. Gotta thank Jumpstart.
We gotta take a shit. What are you gonna do? You gotta pee?
Yeah, I gotta take a shit. No, I just got to go.
You're right. It's late. It was 2 hours and 14 minutes for the love of God.
I think that's a record.
That is a record. All right. We appreciate everybody. Grab that Jumpstart Coffee Company. Grab and save 15% with the promo code. Don't forget about that. Don't forget to become a member. Get some exclusive content, behind the scenes stuff. Actually have the first podcast picture that we ever took.
What?
Before Frank was on the podcast. A lot of people don't know there was a version before the podcast, before Frank got cast. I'm going to put that up in the members only area.
Nobody wants to see that.
Frank's never even seen. He doesn't even know that this exists.
I don't think it does.
And don't forget to grab some of the merch in the merch store. You saw Janine's My Phone's About to Die shirt. Lots of great stuff up there. Grab that while you can. It's all in the link in the description and on the homepage of anthonyonair.com. Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll be back with you on Monday. Don't forget to share this episode on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and your favorite podcast network.
Show me potato salad.
Maybe we should go